Well, hello out there. Welcome back. It's another Saturday. It's another Racing Post Live in conjunction with Betfair Exchange. Don't forget that sportsbook out there. We're going to be showcasing that for you as well. Our sponsors, myself, Dave Orton. Whoa, well, isn't this one of the greatest days of the entire racing calendar? Yes, it's King George Day. A crowd of up to 14,000 they're expecting back at Ascot. Bring it on. A small but select field. We had one, of course, for the Eclipse earlier in the month. Is this a classier field? Get your selections in. Viewers' interaction, as you know, makes the show. We can't wait to hear from you. If you're doing that on YouTube, welcome along to the party. Like and subscribe. Let us know you're out there. We'll give you a good shout out. Great panel for you today. Facebook Live, of course. Welcome to the party. You know that chat is there. We see you chatting amongst yourselves all the time. Let's have some banter today. It's all about having fun. And of course, anything on Twitter, it's hashtag RP Live. A little bit of York for you as well. Is it the Royal Course of the North? I think we can say that. So a little bit of class. Which leads me to our first panellist. James, keep it brief. Millman comes back into the studio. You're becoming accustomed to this show now, James, aren't you? The seat is becoming yours, my friend.
I know, I've been made to feel most welcome by everybody here.
You are
here
always welcome. You've been a busy boy this week, haven't you?
Yeah, done a fair bit, and a couple of shifts for Racing TV. I was at Sandown in Newbury in the evening meetings, and I think the G-Rod was watching, apparently.
I was.
Graeme Rodway, the big bear himself, comes back in, trading for Barry Orr of Betfair. Before we go to Barry, how are you?
Very well, yeah. Great to be back, Dave. It's been a couple of weeks since my last show. And
fresh and bullish.
Fired up for the biggest week of the year, bar Cheltenham and Ascot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great to have you on because you know that we had this big hoodoo, didn't we? The voodoo hoodoo where you went north from Cheltenham to up until Royal Ascot with, you know, you're trying to book them out. But you got the winner in. It was a great highlight of the week. You've passed that off to another one of our tipsters, you know.
Have I really?
Keeley.
Who's that?
Paul Keeley.
What, can't tip a winner?
One of his, not a sniff, not even near. And I think he blames you to a certain extent.
Us tipsters, we're a bit like, you know, strikers. You can go on those barren runs, but when you get one, the next one usually comes along. And that it's been like that. It's been like that recently.
I'm looking at you thinking you got a bit of the Mickey Quinn about you. You got a bit, bit of the Alan Brazil about you. Great strikers on their day. Talking of great strikers, the big hitter is out there. We can hear him clicking away. Barry, welcome back.
Good afternoon, gents. How are we all?
Absolutely buzzing, Barry. This is the start, isn't it, of one of the great weekend of sport out there. We've got, of course, Goodwood coming up. Barry, you're going to be with me every single day, and a small matter of Galway next week as well.
Yeah, it's a fantastic week of racing. It's an unfortunate clash sometimes as well because you can't biolocate me in two places at once. But unfortunately, or fortunately, I'll be on Racing Post TV with you. Yeah, so I get the best of both worlds, really. Get to see what's happening in Galway and enjoy and savour Goodwood as well. It's always a fantastic meeting, the glorious meeting in Goodwood, and it's a meeting that I look forward to all year.
I'm sure that was a Freudian slip there, Dave. He said unfortunate, and then he changed it to fortunate at the last minute.
Are you suggesting that might have something to do with me? Graham, unbelievable. The banter starts. All right, there he is. He was like, oh, butter wouldn't melt. Absolutely. So, Barry, we've got 7 beauties coming for the viewers today. We're basically covering the terrestrial TV, aren't we? We've got York and, of course, Ascot. We kick off with the Princess Margaret. There, as by magic, there's your live odds coming up on the exchange as well. Have you got anything really juicy for us today, Barry?
Yeah, there's a couple of decent plays today. I thought Love would probably win the King George, and she was out to over 2-1 at one stage on the exchange. Obviously, there's a weather watch there for Wonderful tonight. She's currently a 9-1 chance. So that on the sportsbook would be a 10p ruled 4. From 10-1 up to 14-1 is just a 5p. So it'd be interesting to see if they nudge her out to 10-1. For the 5p rule for her. She says under the 10-1 mark, those pesky bookmakers. That's a watching brief, like I said there. But yeah, in this opener in Ascot at 150, Desert Dreamer is your favourite at 3.45 in the exchange, which is just 5-2. System, who was favourite at one stage when most of the books went up with the race, is 4.796 Added Girl. Delmona, pretty friendless in the market. Delmona 12.5 and Nazanin is 11.5. But in a departure from our norm today, I'm going to look on the Betfair Sportsbook to place my first bet, because the Betfair Sportsbook in this race, the 150 in Ascot, is paying 4 places to each way punters, and it's going 10-1 about Nazanin. And that's the horse that I like in the race, Nazanin, for Archie Watson and Holly Doyle. Was really well supported on her debut in Newbury and won accordingly. It's always good to see that kind of what they've shown at home. transferred to the track. She was a bit green that day, it has to be said, and the ground was soft, so she's encountering different ground. But I think 10-1 kind of dismisses her chances a bit too much for me. So what we're going to look to do, please, G-Rod, is have 25 quid each way Nazanin. So you just select a horse and then populate the bet slip with 25 and click the each way tab. And we've 50 quid on. We get 350 back if it wins, or 75 quid if it places. At the moment in the 4th place market on the exchange, it's just 2.44. So we're beating the market there. And 4 places, I think, is a great concession on the Betfair Sportsbook here. And watch out for during the day other enhanced place terms on the Betfair Sportsbook.
Thank you, Barry Orr. First trade of the day. It's underway. If you want to get involved with Barry's trade, you can do so. Don't forget, of course, it's safe gambling. Big week coming up. Let's just have some fun. If you're not betting in every single race, you can still let us know what you think's going to win it. It's all about learning still at this time of year. And Barry, you're showcasing the functionality of Exchange. We say that. Great to have the sportsbook joining the party as well. And it's all for charity, right?
Yeah, it's all for charity. I think we won the guts of 300 quid last Saturday, thankfully, for retraining of racehorses was the charity that we landed on for the month of July. So hopefully we can add to that today. But like you say, I'm just showcasing the functionality of the exchange. And now we're going to bring the sportsbook into it as well and just show some of the enhanced place terms and some of the special offers that you get on the sportsbook that, you know, it's Betfair and we like to toggle between the two and just show both codes.
And let's face it, guys, that's where the value lies. Tell you what, I'm rhyming a bit today. I think that's the second one I've done already. So plenty of time then. The Princess Margaret Stakes. Shall I just give you a few encouraging stats, if you like, Nazanin as well? It's big ride this for Holly Doyle. She's not got the most obvious of rides today, Holly. She's not got the real fancy one. Lord Rapscallion, I thought, was overpriced in the big handicap at 3 o'clock. That will go well, I think. 3rd in the Bunbury Cup, wasn't it? That could go well. 104 winners she's had so far this year, Holly. Absolutely flying, isn't she? There are just some very red-hot jockeys in front of her, of course, at the moment in the Jockeys' Championship. Nazanin, then. 3 times in the last decade, the Princess Margaret has gone to a once-raced novice or stroke maiden winner, as it used to be. And stall 1. Not something we usually like on the sprint course, guys, is it? It's won 5 of the last 10, stall 1. So for whatever reason, the 1 poke is the place to be statistically in this. Nazanin, Archie Watson. James, he hasn't had the quickest of years, if you like, with his 2-year-olds. I think he's something like 7 from 70 individual runs or something like that. I checked out the other day. I wrote about one of his 2-year-olds. I thought, hang on a minute, I need to look at this. He became a trainer, didn't he, guys, who sort of did what George Bowie's doing this year, if you like. He's quite worked out. If you get the early, buzzy 2-year-old types, you make a name for yourself. He's changed tack a little bit. I
think you've got to as well, because these 2-year-olds don't last very long. If you keep blasting them from day one, you've got that window at the start of the year. We've seen a little bit with George Bowie. Flying, wasn't he, into the run at Royal Ascot, and now it's kind of just tapered off or even going the wrong way. And you've only got a certain amount of time, and like I say, I think Archie Watson's realised that to get the bigger owners, to get the better horses, you can't be winning of all of them in April and May. You've got to be a bit more patient, and he might not have as good a crop of 2-year-olds this year. He's had a few that have made all and debut and not gone on, but I think he's a little bit more patient. This horse, big owner, Holly's retained owner, obviously. Yeah. So be keen to kind of keep them on side. So a nice winner, well backed, 6-5 when winning at Newbury. Obvious chance. But like I say, probably has to step up on the bare form. I thought it was an open race.
A lot of these do, don't they? You talked about George Bowie, G, of course, who made that wonderful strike rate earlier in the season, where anyone could talk about. We like things that are hot, that, you know, as we well know, when you were going through your voodoo streak. Fair to say you were ice cold, my man. But you're back. But these 2-year-olds, they can't keep their condition forever. Which brings me on to the favourite. Desert Dreamer, who now, what is it on the exchange? 9-4 shot, if you like, maybe 5-2. This is its 6th run of the year, Desert Dreamer. That would worry me slightly.
She's got the best form, though, don't she?
Is this the pick?
I have not put one up in this, Dave. I'm following my new slightly...
You're a strong finisher.
Yeah, tempered down approach. You know, it's been paying off, hasn't it?
Wait to the end to
absolutely,
really
the new calm, yeah. We build up slowly now.
Called yourself a striker, so you're a little bit like Harry Kane then, basically. You do nothing for the first half, and then when everyone else
and
starts...
then pop up with
yeah.
a good winner.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, no, I still think she's the likely winner, Desert Dreamer. That run against Sandrine is obviously the best piece of form in this race. Now, of course...
Do you not think she finished a clear second there because she just was the most professional because of her experience in that race on the...
Yeah, but the same could happen here. No?
But yeah, maybe.
She's facing a bunch of lightly raced horses.
This looks like they're going to the well a bit too often.
I don't think so, Dave. I don't think so. It's System. She's obviously got to reverse the form with System because System beat her, didn't she?
has napped this, This is nap of
what? Desert Dreamer.
Desert Dreamer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
O'Sheen felt he should have won at Newmarket.
Yeah.
It's 2 runs in a row now where it hasn't had the rub of the green. Its flop obviously came at Ascot as well, didn't it?
4 runs at Newmarket, 1 away from Newmarket.
You've not put one up, but is that because you didn't like the price of a horse you thought was most likely to win?
Yeah, I thought it was short enough, but it's also a tough little 2-year-old fillies race. Now I've obviously made my dislike of fillies races and mares races. I think
Isabel Giles, is that what's put you off?
Yeah, Isabel Giles.
You can't pick one that's not trained on.
Isabella Giles. I'll still back her next time.
All right, well, listen, so G likes Desert Dreamer, but not the price. Let me tell you, no horse has won this in the last 10 years with as many runs as she had this season. I don't know. Right,
that's irrelevant. That
wrong profile. Well, okay, maybe it's irrelevant. Let's see what people out there think. You can see Atta Girl is the social pick. It is a spotlight pick. And Mark Smith opens up the show. Welcome along, Mark. Really fancy System in the first. At Ascot, Hannon's juveniles are flying this year. Yeah, he sent out a bit of a monster there yesterday in the second race. You're braver than me, just picking out a Mac 2 or a Shadwell, as we call them now, because you can always get the pronunciations wrong. We've got a couple running today. I can't.
They're all very
Without
similar.
looking off the top of my head, I'm going to get them wrong. Let me tell you, I know my half-head is running.
We bought one from Shadwell, and the owner sent me a text in, and one in America is exactly the same name and the same crop owned by Shadwell. So
Malahart or whatever, is it?
They're not very original with the old names.
Mark, I like System. I'll give you a word on that in a minute as well, and he's doing everything right, isn't he? Okay, who we got? Gomez,
be careful reading that one.
SE23. All right, here we go. This is Rodway territory. I had a dream last night. God was flicking through the Racing Post. He stopped and he pointed at Mishriff, looked at me and nodded. I didn't know that Tony Enzo had changed his social media comment to Gomez SE23. An early shout for the King George. Mishriff, apparently picked from the heavens above.
Yeah, I had a weird dream last night as well.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Dave Orton was in it, and he was doing some weird sort of new Racing Post live show, and I can't remember exactly what happened, but I knew it was like it was something completely like left field, something that you would expect to come from me, but you were actually doing it.
Any
Dave.
good?
I can't remember.
Oh, no, then.
I woke up.
Terrifying.
That's 2 people that have had dreams about racing today. Well,
I think that could be
one
very, very
about
dangerous.
Dave
We're
Orton.
opening up a whole can of worms with social comments here. When was the last time you had a dream about a race that was about to be run that day?
Has it ever come true? Has it ever come
This is
true?
what I need. Who has ever gone out and put a bet on because they had a dream about it the night before and it's won? James?
No.
No, I don't imagine you dream, do you? Let's face it.
There's nothing
just
there.
Blank.
It's just
just a white noise. James goes across. I have to say, actually, James, while we're having a bit of an early giggle, I have seen you on the television a bit recently.
right.
And I have to say, and Barry will back this up as well, because I know you've done a little bit with Barry since you made an impression on your first show. It's fair to say you're a fairly dour chap at times. You know, you tried to be a solicitor. That went terribly for you.
And failed,
you ended up in here. And I have to say that I know it's the summer, but I'm pretty sure that an extra button's come undone. Okay, when you've got the microphone, it's like you're doing karaoke, man. It's impressive.
I've not noticed that.
Honestly, watch him. He's been with Nick, he's been with Liddy, he's been with all the big wigs, and you have been more than holding your own. You're turning, you're looking to the camera. It's a little bit of the RP Live shine coming on.
It might well be. It might be a Dave Orton character coming out.
You would be a terrible karaoke artist.
I can't sing to save my life, so definitely wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, all right.
I'd like to see it.
No. You wouldn't want to see.
Listen, you're going the right way is what I'm saying. You are trending in exactly the right direction. You're loosening up a little bit. You're having a bit more fun, which is what we have in the studio here. I just got a stare there from MG. I just got the hard stare, I think. A bit of fun. So, talking about fun, you're going for something that's a bit left field in this, aren't you?
Well, it's starting a short one as well. Zane Charlotte, who on one of my RTV stints, I saw her win at Newmarket, and I was impressed. Isham Mohammed doesn't get many 2-year-old winners. And this one, probably unlucky on debut, just got beat by one of the Bowie 2-year-olds. Hello, my darling, who actually came third at Deauville last weekend.
Oh, yes.
Then won her maiden pretty comfortably. She was 2-1 favourite on that occasion. I'll say Isham Mohammed doesn't have many 2-year-old winners, and I really did think she was going to be O'Sheen's very nearly got dropped. heading to the start on Desert Dreamer. So that is fortunate for anyone.
She's had enough. It's a 6th run, G. I'm telling you.
Favourite.
She's not. Why are you turning me out again? She's saying this horse.
No, she's so happy to be there, Dave, that she's
Not
she's
often
fired
you've
up
not
for
seen
it.
doing that, is it? Absolutely.
He was hanging off the side door then, so luckily he stayed on. But back to the winner.
What's the armband for?
Zane Charlotte.
Good question, Barry. Not sure what the armband is for. We shall try and find that out. He is carrying an armband at the moment. Zane Charlotte.
All of them are. All the jockeys.
Barry, this is coming in for money. Is it Zane Claudette, I should say? No, Charlotte's here.
St. Claudette's come in for support. Yeah, it was 14.0 on the exchange. Smaller matched up at a bigger price than that, but into 10.5 now. Yeah, favourite still uneasy or steady enough at the head of the market. 3.4 Desert Dreamer system, 4.492 Adagirl, Delmona 12.5, 13.5 Nazim. Yeah, I think any of these could take a step forward. That's why I went for a bit of value in the race. And interestingly as well, the horse that I've backed, Nazanin, is the only one with a Grade 1 entry. Entered in the Moyglare later on in the season, which is always a cracking race in the Curragh. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's warming up a little bit, that, isn't it? And in fact, the Fillies division is starting to warm up. Inspiral was very impressive in the week. If you were watching Sandown as well, Johnny Gosden, he said he was light on the younger horses. He's got another worldie there. So Nazanin, just to remind you for Barry, Zane Claudette, it is for James. Keep it brief. Millman, no bet for Graeme Rodway. Are you going to get involved in running or something like that? Will you try and find an angle in this race, or?
Oh, in running betting, probably not in this race. I did look at Nazanin, and I had a better stat than you. What was your one? One. Saw one.
Yeah,
no, I had. There's been 24 horses go off at 6 to 5 or shorter on their debut since 2016, and win, and then contest group races. Second time out, 5 have won.
Someone will be cross-checking you out there. Fact-checking is a big thing this year, you know.
5 have won. 5 have won. So that's 21%. So it's not bad, is it? Considering they're coming in off one win. But it's a minus level stake of £11, roughly.
Not sure that's a better stat, though, to be totally honest.
I think it is the best stat that you'll hear all day.
Okay, but I'm having said that stall one is
We're
very
in trouble
good.
if that's the best stat we hear.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you,
trouble.
it's a long week as well, and this is this is what you might consider the big team, because this is the team, guys, that opens up Glorious Goodwood on Tuesday as well. Listen, you need to get back. You said you had a couple of weeks off, man.
I think I lost it in the delivery there.
You said 2016 as well. Oh, hang on a minute.
What's wrong with 2016? That's
Well, listen, I like sticking to systems, so this is where
You like doing systems?
This is going to be Hannon. I just think he's got that gloss about him again, Richard Hannon, at the moment, isn't he? Another big day for him. They're all winning, aren't they?
System, Super Sprint Gulbass, and the July Stakes Lusail. So
yeah, and that
3.
form's actually is looking all right. It's slightly represented here as well. Massive step up from the first run, wasn't it? And an RPR of 97 in the second start. He should be able to take some options early. Pat Dobbs, who takes the ride in this. I thought she was the rock solid one. I was seeing the ball quite big early in this, so I've had a little bit of play on this as well. She's the one, I think, Barry, isn't she? She's really not really gone anywhere in the market. Am I right, System?
System, yeah, she's steady enough. 4.7 now. Although she was, when we first went up with the race, she was 5 to 2 favourite ahead of Desert Dreamer, who was 11 to 4. So, if anything, she's taken a bit of a walk, really, since the 48-hour deck stage. She's out to 5 now on the exchange, so 4 to 1 chance there.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Adagirl into 7-6. The late money coming for Adagirl. She's the real gamble of the race.
Yeah, it's Paul Keeley's pick. He was originally a Saturday Sizzlers today.
Wooden Bassett.
Yeah.
Cool more hope.
That's something that you flagged last year, Barry, wasn't it? Wootton Bassett is the big hope now, of course, with the sad passing of Galileo. Was it 2 weeks ago now? I think it was, wasn't it? That Galileo passed, and there has been a bit of a passing of the baton, hasn't there? And the King George, the narrative of that, the Derby winner, of course, taking on Love. It's exciting. 3:35, the final race here on RP Live this afternoon. Get your selections in for that. Is she a lay or is she a play? Love. Is it all about Love in the King George? Cannot wait for that, and we'll be giving you great previews. Attagirl, G, impressive when making all last time out. Does she have to lead? It wasn't a great time, was it? Kills is really keen on this, and we know Carl Blurk can train a top 2-year-old filly. Dandana, for one. You want to give you a few more?
He's had a good week, hasn't he, with juveniles, Carl Burke? He had 2 winners, and then he ran one in Ireland, actually, didn't he? He ran one at Nice, I think, on Thursday night, was it?
Yeah, Bradley won, another one.
Corker was impressive last night, wasn't it?
Star.
Yeah, so...
Right, okay, so that's good. Yeah.
But, Probably should have won that race, didn't they? But
Cliff Logistics, they do get these decent horses, don't they?
Spend the cash.
Yeah,
They're not
absolutely.
afraid of
Over
splashing the
jumps
money.
and, of course, on the flat as well. Listen, we go up to York for the 205 after this, by the way, guys. There's a 5 furlong race with just jump jockeys. We'll get James, you're going to have an insight or two on that. I know you have, because you came into the office and you started saying, I'm not sure about him. Wouldn't it be the more streamlined?
Aerodynamics.
I'm not going to say exactly
like
which one it was.
the peloton.
England, who's on my fancy in that. But listen, so that's going to be a unique take, isn't it? We go up to the Naismar, the Royal Course of the North. That'll be quite quickly after this. Again, all selections, get them in. The guys in the gallery will sift through the best ones, and of course, you will make it into the social corner. Down there, you get free premium content.
Freemium, your own word, Dave.
I'll tell you what, he's doing creative dreams for the new pitches that we're going to do later on in the year, and I'm coming up with new words, which tends to happen here. There's a lot going on, 7 races coming. Premium content, I quite like that.
the way this show is started is a bit worrying for the rest of the day.
We could be going anywhere, couldn't we? Listen, there's a disclaimer that these guys have to sign before they come in the studio, so we're covered. It's all good. If the hierarchy are indeed watching, as we know they do. Now the rain has started to come at Ascot. We should also now bring it back to the business end of this race, because what is the ground going to be like? Well, they've had one race, haven't they, James? It didn't look slow. They've had nowhere near as much rain as they were expecting. A drizzle's come now, but it's not going to be enough to affect the big race.
It's got to be proper heavy rain.
Over 9 the going stick on the round course. Can't remember the last time I saw a 9. That's firm, by the way.
Well, 8 mil was forecast.
Yeah, it
the
hasn't
start of the
arrived.
day.
0.2 overnight.
Exactly.
Remarkable. All that worrying we had about not punting, or taking these 48-hour decks, it hasn't turned up. It has drizzled now at the start of this, Princess Margaret. Good luck wherever you are playing. First race of the day here on Racing Post Live then. This is the place to be. Real-time reaction and analysis coming to you. And should give us a take on the rest of the races on the course. We've got a massive big field handicap at 3 o'clock. Cannot wait for that one. Nearly nap time for me in that. All right then. Off and running they go in the Princess Margaret. A couple slow out the back, weren't they? Commentators do this a lot, by the way, don't they? They look for the slow starters. Miscalculation it was, by the way, and Sassy Rascal, thankfully both in yellow for me, out the back already. They tend to concentrate on the slow starters and then go to the front. Crazy land up front. So I'm learning the commentary game, basically, is what I'm saying.
Have you not had any training to do this?
Not really. We could talk about that later on in the show. It didn't last for very long. Nazanin in second, taking a really keen hold. Also there as well, At a Girl, the one for money, also taking a keen hold. Kills his nap pretty much. This was on the Saturday. It's in third. They've gone hard enough, James, haven't they? System just in fourth.
System probably best placed. Pat Dobbs riding confidently in about 5th place. Now coming under the bridle. At a Girl is the one travelling.
Yeah, Desert Dreamer out the back. Gee, she's going to have to make up the ground.
Going well though, Dave, the favourite. I think she's coming through now.
Charlotte as well. You're going to like this. I'll tell you what. Oshin's either. I'll tell you what.
Here comes that favourite flying home here, Dave.
System. Zane Claudette. I'll tell you, is right out there. Crazy Land as well. Desert Dreamer can't win from there. Gee, this is going to go to Millman, I think, isn't it?
Nah,
Zane Claudette on the inside.
What are you talking about? This is Desert Dreamer.
Desert Dreamer coming up on the far side. Is Graeme going to be right? She's
close.
Woo! That's a close one, isn't it? This is where you get the beautiful thing about having the exchange on. As you could probably tell in the studio,
Here we go.
They've gone past together. The exchange will tell you who they think has won it. Desert Dream, they think. I thought it had it, but Zane Claudette on the near side, that is really, really tight. Barry Orr, what do you think?
Come on, Zane.
I think there's no doubt. I think number 4's up at the moment. Odds against Claude Sedane is favoured in the betting on the exchange at the moment.
I'm unlucky if I've got B.
No, it's evens your pick on the exchange at the moment. They can't separate them.
Usually. I'll tell you what, that's really close. You asked if I ever did commentary. I actually got into racing, would you believe it, by commentating on greyhounds. Really random, long story, that one. And I used to, the one thing it's given me is calling these photo finishes.
Come on then, Dave.
Which one then?
I got a feeling it might be near side, which is
Forget about that. What's
Claudette.
fourth?
Fourth is definitely yours, Barry. You knew it as well. Don't you worry about
Barry Orr. That's his classic.
James is waiting to see whether he's got the show off to an absolute fire, but don't you worry. Those 4 places on the sportsbook, you were told Barry Orr, Nazanin, around about a 10-1 poke, wasn't she? Happy days there. At a Girl, definitely third. I think we can say that. System, very disappointing. One-paced she was.
Oh.
Come on.
They had a good look at each other, didn't they? Ray Dawson, Ismail Mohammed.
Has it been called yet?
It hasn't. It hasn't been called
Must
yet.
be the exchange suspended.
Yeah, Zane Claudette. Look, you can see Dick.
Claudette.
He's got it as well. Zane Claudette gets up. Never in doubt.
That was enough for the day as well.
Was it now? You are learning, Millman. I can tell you. I told you this RP Live is doing wonders for your career.
Oh, Perfect. Like G-Rod just gives up in the first race, and away we go.
And just as well he did, because he'd have been done a short head and he'd have been furious with the rest of the show.
Perfect.
You know, I got a stare off you when I said you look like karaoke the other night at Sandown on RTV, and the looks that he gives me, you can tell I'm about to start winding him up. The big bear himself.
Oh, we got a potential segment for that later on, haven't we?
Yes. Wow, there you go. Okay, so that was a flyer, wasn't it? Who went with James? let us know. Did you go maybe on the Fav? Ross Bryan,
He's enjoying this, Ray Dawson. I heard him as he came back there giving out the big shout. Yes.
You know what? This is something I love to talk about, guys. We're going to the 205 soon at York. I love it when these jockeys celebrate. We don't have enough jockeys celebrating, even if it's a Class 4 race. Yesterday, I watched a bit of Utoxeter in the background, and Brian Hughes and Paddy Brennan were up against each other in a novice chase. And Brian went a length up on the run-in, and Paddy came back and got him on a horse called Court and Bold. I think it was Charlie Post, a graduate. And this Paddy Brennan does this better than anyone else in the whole racing world. That's a low prize money race, right? But it meant so much to him to beat Brian. He stood up in the stirrups and started. Paddy's always done that. I don't know why it has to be the young jockeys at Royal Ascot that really salute, and Ray Dawson there, a massive Cheshire grin on his face. Why can't people just enjoy it like Frankie's obviously the master at it? They need to celebrate more. Sport needs it, right?
Yeah, how many times did you do a flying dismount, James?
That's going to be a big fat 0.
Off the little tiddlers you used to ride, it can't have been daunting, can it?
Look, I'm all for the professional Rymore, head down, cross the line, job done.
Yeah, it's amazing we're getting any words out of you at all, probably, isn't
not
it? Your fellow alumni at the law school are probably like, what's he doing on television? Absolutely. Listen, it's great to have Keep It Brief Millman with us, and he's got us off to a flyer. Barry's Trade as well. There's the Betfair SB then. You can see, what is that up there? Somewhere with better, is that 9.38? Is it something like that? Fantastic stuff. Okay, and have we got another 2-year-old filly going places? Where will she go next? Rockfell, something like that, do you think? Later on at Newmarket, give her a bit of a break?
I think she'll keep her relatively busy. She's not the biggest 2-year-old in the world.
What I liked about that was she travelled, hit the flat spot, and then went back and
She would have been unlucky, because I think Ray was looking at the horse in his side system. I think he was following her, thinking, that's the one I got to beat. And O'Sheen had actually just disappeared around the other side.
Now, Dan Walsh in the gallery has just said, what about a flying dismount from the jump jockeys in the 5 furlong race at York? They're used to taking a tumble. They're used to flying out the saddle. Are we going to see a flying dismount in the Jumpers Nunthorpe? Whoever came up with that name. It's genius, isn't it? Let's go up then to the 205. Barry, who's the play in this?
Yeah, so this is a great race. I think these are a great initiative. A race like this gives the jump jockeys a chance to ride a really speedy 5 furlongs like York. So I'm all for this sort of race. It's 92 to field at the moment on the Exchange. Winster is 5.6, 9.2 Nibris again, Soul Seeker 7.2, 8.8 Ventura Express, and that's what I like in a Ventura Express. And again, I'm going to exploit the enhanced place terms on the Betfair Sportsbook. We're going to have 25 quid each way Ventura Express. Daryl Jacob takes the ride back to 5 furlongs following 2 decent efforts over 6 furlongs. This is his trip, without a shadow of a doubt. His record since joining Paul Midgley, who incidentally has half of the field. He's 5 runners here. He's probably about a 6-4 on or 7-4 on chance to train the winner of this race, Paul Midgley. But this horse, since joining him from Richard Fahey's, has won twice, has finished second twice over 5 furlongs, and was 5th once, and that was on soft ground, so I'll forgive him that. Daryl Jacob, no coincidence, is the ambassador for the sponsors of the race, Skybet.
Oh.
Now that ties in nicely as well. So for me, Ventura Express, enhanced place terms on the Betfair Sportsbook, going to exploit that 4 places again, like we did in the first race in Ascot.
Yeah, okay, interesting. It would just be about whether he finds this sharp enough, I think. But interesting ploy there. And we were talking about this race again before we came in the show, and you said it's odds on that Midgley will win this.
That's what I wanted to
do. So you're with Barry on this. Just Paul Midgley. If there was a Midgley market,
exactly, that would be a Y angle, because his sprinters, he runs loads against each other all the time.
And at York, he does well, doesn't he?
Exactly. And he himself isn't sure which one's going to come out in front. I was going to go purely for jockeys, and probably the most aerodynamic one. I think the stylish one, Brian Hughes, he could probably ride.
Good to know you've done your homework here, James.
Well, this one is it's a unique.
You're a man on the ground, and you'll be like, he could never ride in a 5 furlong race.
Well, you're fair enough. Tom Scudamore was brilliant on one of Midgley's when he won it. The first renewal, he got like 5 lengths out the gates and gone.
He's on. He is on Soul Seeker, isn't he? Of course, he won the big hurdle. Of course, for David O'Mara, Market Raisin, when we covered that last Saturday. He sits on Soul Seeker. But you have gone for another Midgley horse.
Yeah, I've gone for James Watt, like I say, purely because I think Brian Hughes is probably the most flat-orientated jockey on the whole field. I think this horse is good at York. He won nicely last time, beating a Pint of Bear. He's at, what, £5? I just felt that was the angle in. Paul Midgley's actually won it twice out of 3 run-ins. Tom Scudamore, Graham Lee, how he rode in the race, I do not know. He's not allowed this year. And Josh Moore won it last year.
Well, because he's an ex-flat jockey, you mean?
Because he's a current flat jockey.
Oh, of course, he's still got the license. So he was a Rick, basically. That was
a bit of a con, wasn't it?
Ah, there you go.
6-1 favourite, no surprise.
Right, next year, let's get a sprinter, G, and let's find out one of the dual codes, like an old PJ McDonald or something. We'll book and we'll get it on. This will be the big day. Yeah?
Not a bad idea, is it? If you want to land the touch. I fancy The Greatest Showman.
Oh, you have given a tip in this.
Yes,
you graced us with a tip. That's
we're going tips the whole way now, Dave. Just the first one.
Wow,
named after yourself, is it?
The Greatest Showman. Yes, yeah, well named.
Oh, he's getting better at this, isn't he?
I thought this horse ran an eye-catching race last time at Windsor on soft ground.
He is a complete. He's not an entertainer, this chap. Let's put it that way. If anything, he'd be a bit more.
Like him?
No, he'd be a bit more Greek tragedy for me. I have to say, I've backed this chap a lot.
He's got his own ideas, but he's got his own modicum of talent too. I mean, he was flying home that day at Windsor. He made a mess of the start.
He can do that, Graham. He
made a mess of the start, did everything wrong, flew home.
Cheap pieces for very good reason.
Yeah, but
Jack Quinlan and Amy Murphy, that's an association, James, isn't it? So he probably has ridden this horse a bit at home.
Exactly. I was just going to say that because he rides a lot of Amy's jumpers and based in Newmarket, so that's probably key.
Definitely didn't want soft ground last time.
Yeah, and of course the sun still shines in the north of England. We think so. We're expecting decent.
What about the draw here, Dave?
Interesting, which is often low at the moment, isn't it? Someone asked me about York the other day. I'm going up to the Ebor meeting and I'm going to do a bit of hospitality work with Tom Marquand, a couple of people like that, and they were like, you know, how much do you know about York? How much you've been there, all that sort of thing. I was given a little bio about that, and I said, isn't it interesting how the jockeys have consented to stick to the far side rail again? Finally, it was one of those tracks where I used to call it a red herring track, York. I never really knew. 1 minute, okay, now they're coming stand side again. Now they're going to the middle again. You don't really know. I do think it's one of the fairest tracks in the country. You don't know whether somebody wants to come off the page, don't know whether he wants to lead. It's
not
really
a huge field here, of course, but I still do think you want to be low rather than high on that straight track, generally speaking.
Yeah, okay. That is good for me to hear, but you slightly put me off about the chap that's in the saddle. But I'm going to go for the Midgley trifecta, if you like, because I like Nibras again, the 7-year-old of the party. He was very well handicapped on his old form, and he was a little bit unlucky on the July course last time.
How many times is he going to be unlucky?
Again, I've rubbished his
his
Greatest Showman. I've gone for old Nibras, who I just think he's 1 from 1 at York as well. If Jonathan England can just get him on the bridle and get him ready to pounce at the furlong marker, I think he will make around about 7-1, Barry, is he? What price is Nibras again, please, on the Old Exchange?
Yeah, 12.5 at the moment, 5.4 Midwinster, 12.5 Nibras again. So a bit of a drifter, it has to be said. 6.6 Soul Seeker, Ventura Express 8.2, 10.5 Ginger Gem.
Tell us about Midwinster. Why does no one like this? It was STD. And again, this is the most fancied of the Midgley quartet.
Yeah, he's got a good name, hasn't he? I like his name,
Why?
Midwinster. Don't know, just rings a bell with me.
Midwinster.
Yeah, just like it. You know, when I saw him win the other day, I thought, yeah, that's a good name, isn't it? But
There's some interesting named horses running today.
he's the informed sprinter in the race, isn't he? He comes in
Yes.
having run to a good solid level on both of his last 2 starts. And is he another Paul Midgley one, isn't he? So
STD on. What would you think about Sam Tristan Davis riding a?
He's had a few flat rides as well, Sam. One of the smaller jump jockeys as well in the contest. The Keep Busy form, that was a good effort, and this company get the black type for Midwinster, and then she fired up at Doncaster. She does come here in absolute top form.
much sharper test at York though.
They're going in. What's the thing? What's the trick for these jump jockeys? Getting them out of the stalls?
Yeah,
Is
not
that
missing the break?
Something they don't normally do.
Not falling
right?
off.
Well, standing starts they have, so they used to. You know what I mean? That's a bit. They should be a dab hand coming out of the stalls now.
No, not particularly, no.
Standing starts are a massive thing. They're all,
Yeah, but they're totally different.
go off, we point and go.
These horses, literally, they want to explode. The jumpers, you've got to wake them up.
This is going to be fun, this, isn't it?
They'll
going to
just
enjoy
be
this.
flat out.
A reminder, we've all, bar G, Rod, gone for the Midgley runners, so Let's see. He's certainly trying to win this for a third time in the last 4 years. I can tell you that. Good luck wherever you're playing.
No,
in the
he's trying to get
205.
out, isn't he?
Greatest Showman, a little bit restless there. What a surprise.
He's away.
I'll tell you what, he's
away.
absolutely
Yes.
pinged the lids.
Pinged it.
Could this be the day? He's nearly the share of a lead then with Midwinster as they come out right out the back. That looks like one of Midgley's as well, doesn't it? Oh, indeed. It's Sun and Sanny out the back. James Watt, the recent course winner, James Millman on a quick double. He is out the back as well. Nibras again in midfield. Soulseeker tanking his way along. What do we like, James Millman?
The Greatest Showman is actually travelling quite nicely for G-Rod.
Oh.
Might take it back later on.
Let's have a look at some of these jump jockeys then. I'll tell you what,
Jack.
Nibras again. Come on, Jonathan England on the far side. This is it. There's no final fence. Come on, Nibras. We might just have this. Soulseeker on the near side as well.
picking
Could
up
this
well.
be a big Saturday double for David O'Mara and Tom Scudamore? Looks like it. Nibras falls in a hole. There's no jump, my friend there, Jonathan England. What on earth are you doing, my man? It looks like Soulseeker's going to take this out unless Sun and Sanny can have a say. It's a long way home.
It's a long way home, isn't it?
At York. Soulseeker then at the moment. It's not Sun and Sanny. It's the other one, isn't it? In the same colours, a different hats. I'm looking for it. Is it Ginger Jam on the near side? Oh, it's
It
number
didn't
10.
win anyway.
All right, no, Soulseeker, it was Sun and Sanny. They've changed the hat to what they have on the car. I'll tell you what, now that is a celebration. There you go, Tom Scudamore.
He's 2
Enjoyed
from
every
4.
second.
He won the first renewal and he's just done it again. Cracking stuff.
Another close finish then, Barry. Soulseeker, when did they know that Tom Scudamore was going to do the big Saturday double?
4B10, yeah. Soulseeker, he had a Betfair SP of a 6.3. He hit a high in running of 8.8. Beat number 10, which was Sun and Shawnee, who hit a low of... Sun and Shawnee hit a low of... Sorry, 1 second there, lads. Sun and Shawnee hit a low of 1.27, which is 2-7. And I think, thankfully, my horse Ventura Express finished fourth.
There you go. There you go. Another place then for Barry.
He's happy today as well. That 2 4th places.
Listen, it's all building.
Hey, I'm not losing. That's the main thing.
Unlike myself and G, I must admit I got a little bit excited for Nibras again then, but for whatever reason, just looking at him back there I think he's finished last in the end. He's got absolutely lathered with sweat, didn't he? And the Greatest Showman, whilst on a going day, didn't really perform.
No, it was great from the stalls, wasn't it? Should have Jack Quinn on all the time. He pinged those lids. I thought, this could be the day, but maybe he just didn't fancy it, like you say, Dave. He is a funny old character, but he was priced accordingly, and he was well beaten in the end, wasn't he?
Yeah,
but,
I don't know anyone that would be going heavy on this sort of race. Do you like really confident or?
You can't with the jockeys with literally one ride a year in the sprint division. So
yeah, I mean the favourite was up there throughout Midwinster, wasn't it? But it's just gone too hard, hasn't it? I think.
And they're carrying 2 stone more than they normally do, these sprinters, and obviously they're used to literally blitzing for 5, and just that extra weight's going to tell. And
is Soulseeker a horse that could do a bit of an O'Mara, and you remember G-Force and horses like that? He's had started off in handicaps that could make that bridge up.
Oh, yeah.
Or Glitters, of course, probably his greatest horses. Started in Lincolns and things like that, didn't it? Do you think this is a horse that can go on a bit of a rattle? They're looking someone like Air for him, something like that.
you'd imagine so. What was that? That's his 4th win now since he's joined the team. So they're getting a good tune out of him, and he's busy.
Is this the ex-Irish chap?
Dermot Weld
It
had
was
him
a
originally.
worldie, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. What's he gone? 69 to 83. He's gone a stone. I think Group 1's probably stretching it, but I think he's certainly been a real fun handicapper for him.
All right, okay. We're off and running at York. Delighted to have you off and running with us as well. This is the place to be this afternoon. A little bit wet in the south. Lots of sun up there in the north as well. Let us know where you're watching us here this afternoon on Racing Post Live. Myself, Dave Orton, back in the chair. James, keep it brief. Millman, Graeme, the big bear, Rodway, and the big hitter from Betfair himself, Barry or Barry. Let's go to Ascot then, because we've got a 7-runner, 3-year-old handicap coming up, and I've got a feeling this is going to be the one unanimous horse of the day. Can we get the graphics up, guys, for the 225, the next race coming up as we bid farewell to the first race, the Jumpers Nunthorpe at Ascot. There we are. Tell us the horse, Barry.
Yeah, for me, it's fantastic. Fox SDS for his retainer. Won a race in Hamilton by 7.5 lengths. The second has won twice since. Looked really impressive. Went to Royal Ascot for the Golden Gate handicap. Was drawn 2 that day, which can be a bit of a coffin draw. Got out sharpish because he didn't want to miss the kick, but the horse got really lit up, and he was stepping up to an extra 2 furlongs that day as well, to a mile 2 in that race. He got lit up. He traded at a low of 3 in running, led them into the straight, and his run just tapered out. I think if he can be a little bit more restrained on him this time round, I can't have the second in, latest generation. That finished second to Royal Fleet. We covered it on the show, Dave. Royal Fleet, who could have group aspirations, but just that day he got £5 for finishing second that day, and He's a bit of a monkey. He's traded at 266 in Newmarket. Time before that in Sandown, he traded at 274. Newmarket Rolling Mile before that, 2.14. That's just 3 of his last 4 runs. So can't have latest generation. I thought potentially Titan Rock had a bit of a chance. He's the ragged field now at 12 on the exchange, but it's straightforward here, G-Rod. Just going to have a win-only bet on this. We're going to have 50 quid win. Fantastic box. We're going to set our own price here, though. We're going to look to back it at around 3.2, which is just 9-4. It's currently, we can back it at 3.15, but I want to back it at 3.2. So that will go over into the lay section. We want someone to come in and lay us that bet, and we can review it again in another couple of minutes.
Lovely. Okay, and this is the unanimous horse of the day because it's a clean sweep. This is, I have to say, this is unusual. This doesn't happen often on RP Live. It really doesn't. Can I give you a time for the first race of the day? It was slowed by... Oh, no, it was the Princess Margaret, sorry, that Dan Walsh sent through to me. We're quickening up there. I know the rain came, but it was only just off par. It was slowed by 0.37 secs. So, look, those of you that are expecting Wonderful Tonight to come right into the betting for the King George, it's still pretty quick ground there at Royal Ascot. Ascot, indeed. This is the first race on the round course. It was unusually quicker on the round course than it was this morning on the straight course as well. Just for those of you that are looking towards the 3 o'clock, the centre we think is not the place to be if the going stick was anything to go by. A smidgen quicker on the stand side on the near rail than it was on the far side, but not a lot in it, I don't think. It's all about the Fox, isn't it?
It is. We were all here, weren't we, for his last run?
Yeah. You got the wrong one, didn't you?
Royal Ascot. He was my best bet of the day in the Golden Gates handicap and was very strong on him. And it all went to pieces with him flying out the stalls and going off 1,000,000 miles an hour, racing too freely, turning for home. I think he was 5 lengths clear.
I'm laughing because you were really strong on this, weren't you? You've been looking forward to it. It was the last race on the day, and you were like, "What is he doing?" And of course, he teed it up for the other one on the inside.
Well, I couldn't believe that he traded a lower 3 in running as Barry. I remember Barry telling us on the day, and I was like, "Oh, I knew that wasn't going to win after 3 furlongs because it had just gone ridiculous fast." But of course, that was really soft ground, 1.25 miles at Ascot. Now we've got really quick ground over 1 mile, so the sharper test should certainly suit him. He's won on good to firm ground, better ground should suit him. That day when he won at Hamilton, not only is the second one since, but the time was absolutely fantastic, and he was very strong through the line, which is always a very good sign if you've got a race that's running a very good time with a winner that comes through the line very strongly. It suggested to me that this Fantastic Fox has got an awful lot of latent ability. And hopefully today he's going to show it. He wasn't able to show it at Royal Ascot, but I think he will win this race, Dave.
As do I. I think, Barry, that there is a race in latest generation. But do you know what? It was if there was a market on who was going to open up Barry's, here's what he traded in the last couple of races, and let me tell you, that is one of the worst things a horse. If you were riding a horse, I'd probably phone Barry up every morning and go, tell me I'm not on one of these touch 101s, 102s or whatever, because they never win, Barry. Cue another 0 coming on. But I knew latest generation was going to be the opener for that.
Yeah, he's building that sort of profile. Now, it was a fair horse that beat him last day, but I thought the Royal Fleet, if you recall, Dave, he drifted over to the far side in the July course. He looked to do everything wrong and still won.
Yeah.
And I just don't like the idea that the runner-up, latest generation, got £5 for finishing second to him. I think that's a real cruel blow for Connections.
Yeah, and I think the stiffer finish, like we saw at Sandown the previous time, you remember Paul Keeley when he was on the show as well, he was keen on him that day, and he just was too keen, wasn't he? Didn't get cover. Small field for him, not ideal. There is a race for him. He's definitely talented enough to do it. We know that they aimed him high as a 2-year-old, but yeah, I thought that he was vulnerable as here as well. Guru thought he was a bit of a monkey as well, but I think Oshie Murphy, though he came back to form last time. Mars Sabit on bidding for a 4 from 5 this season. Is this a bit hot? Holly Doyle, Mystery Smiles. Wonderful Tonight is out, Barry. Is that right? You're hearing that?
Non-runner, yeah, confirmed non-runner by his trainer.
We're down to 5 in the King George. Wonderful Tonight. Not this afternoon. Let's get some socials up in the corner. James is going Fantastic Fox as well, by the way, guys. The Ginger Joe comes on. Welcome along, my red-headed friend. And I assume you are red-headed. And says, Fantastic Fox ticks all the boxes, but think he may be vulnerable. Mars Sabit, maybe. Okay, just Fantastic Fox saw the ball big with this?
The only caveat, it could be a messy race. We need a front runner. And I
He was desperately keen, wasn't he?
I do wonder if Mystery Smiles, same ownership, different trainer.
That's what I was thinking.
That might be our pacemaker. And if we see that, lump on.
And Huey Morrison's Mars Sabbit, Joe, just to let you know, let me tell you, it's a horse capable of rating high. I just was wondering about the pace scenario. Here we go. Commander Von Rowick comes on. Don't laugh, but I really like Mystery Smiles for this. Great timing, boys in the gallery. Okay, Mystery Smiles. Why, Commander? Let us know. I guess he was aimed very high as well, wasn't he? Do you remember when they backed this on his debut at Windsor? They're absolute fortunes for him. I'm sure it was this horse.
Yeah, no, that was 6-5-1 winner.
It was this chap, wasn't it? And it wasn't a great time. And then he followed up at Chester, but he also called Zamari, who was a bit of a thinker. The wheels have come off slightly since, I guess. But yeah, this would be a definite class drop on his handicap debut.
Yeah,
maybe we're looking at the pace angle, thinking, is this for the Fox? But
Craven and the 2,000 Guineas is 2 starts this year.
And ran really well in the Craven as well. Okay, so we're looking for a bounce back, are we, Commander? I guess that's what it is. Interesting.
He'll make it, won't he? Fantastic Fox, no?
Well, he could do, but he didn't in his first three runs.
Titan Rock, who Barry mentioned as well, who give a bit of squeak. So I can see him reversing that form with latest generation as well, behind Royal Fleet as well. He's in 2 with Tom Marquandon. He's a horse that can race prominently.
Yeah, I thought that the biggest danger was Mars a bit.
You're going with Ginger Joe then?
Yeah, Huey Morrison. Obviously had that good winner at Royal Ascot. I can't remember its name, Dave.
Quickthorn. Our favourite.
Quickthorn, the one that broke the hoodoo.
Sorry, I thought you meant the Golden Gates handicap, man. I can't do everything.
I was setting you up and you weren't there.
I thought you meant Fox's Tails. Yes, okay. Your beloved Quickthorn. Yes, of course.
The beloved Quickthorn who ended the hoodoo. Yeah. So Huey Morrison and just obviously very shrewd handler is he doesn't sort of step them up to this sort of level unless he thinks they're up to it. So I wouldn't be too concerned.
Keyshawn, Swans, etc.
I wouldn't be too concerned about him going massively up in trip. I thought when he won at Leicester last time, he shaped like he would be really well suited by a strongly run race. Now, you're suggesting we won't get one here?
No, because Ida Kai has come out, that's the non-runner, and it was the horse that nearly made all at the track last time, and I thought, oh, lovely, we've got a beautiful front runner in there. Sylvester can just tag that. So, yeah, I guess that would be slightly...
I thought there was a possibility that Fantastic Fox might lead, overdo it again, and then get caught by Mars a bit. But
he could do from stall 6.
Happen, obviously.
When they named this chap Fantastic Fox, King Power, obviously the Foxes and Leicester, you're not going to try and waste this name, are you? They probably had group class aspirations for him. And I do remember the comment that Roger Varian made in the paper, but prior to that, we think an awful lot of him. He had 2 in the race, if you remember, with very sexy, progressive, typical Rog profiles. But
yes,
they were gutted, I think, by that performance.
It was well backed, wasn't he? Fantastic Fox.
And the ground has come in his favour. Look, I just think it's wins.
He's gone to the start with a red hood on this time, Dave. So
doing that a lot, aren't we? Why are they always red?
Because they've taken them off.
So they've got to be taken. Yeah.
So they remember to take them off.
Yeah.
So if you've got the black one on, then you know.
We've come to that, have we, in racing?
Well, yeah, it helps, doesn't it? It helps you not forget. But also, it's more.
I think it lets the general public know as well.
Exactly, Barry.
All right, okay.
If you looking at walk around a paddock, you can see if they're going to wear it or not wear it.
You think the BHA worried about someone forgetting to take the tongue tie off or something?
Well, the most ridiculous thing that I've seen is a horse went to start with cheek pieces on and it wasn't supposed to have them on. So rather than simply whipping them off when he got down to the start, they withdrew it.
Oh.
Because you've got to be seen countering down to the start with what headgear you're declared in.
A pretty controversial week, guys, isn't it, by the way, as we wait for these guys to go out. We're around about 7 minutes away from the next race at Ascot. Poor Jason Watson, he's not had a good week, is he?
Yeah, he's lost his job.
And Heather Main. Let's talk about this. So basically, where was the horse? It was on at Lingfield, wasn't it?
Yep.
And on one of the hottest days of the year. It was unbearably hot, wasn't it? And it was in the first race there, and Jason Watson finished second on a horse for Heather Main. And what happened, James?
Well, he weighed in £2 too light when he came back in. And his simple explanation, which is a believable one, he sweated it all away, which, bearing in mind, everyone probably in the country was sweating away quite a lot.
You and Graeme were thinking, is that all we have to do? Who knew?
It's easy, isn't it? It is easy. But, yeah, so the horse got disqualified. The BHA argument was that every other jockey weighed in normally.
It was plausible.
Yeah, plausible, but the horse effectively carried £2 too light.
Yeah, so the BHA doing what they do very well is stick to the letter of the law.
Exactly, and DQ'd, but he got fined. I think Heather Main got fined.
How did Heather Main get a £500 fine?
Exactly.
What's the trainer got to do with it?
That's the worst part of it, really.
I mean, if that isn't an appeal... I spoke to Charlie Hills about this yesterday. I did an interview with Charlie Hills, and he said, as soon as I get off this interview, I'm going to go and check the law. He couldn't believe what he does.
It's just a simple... it's the trainer's responsibility for the correct weight to be drawn if there isn't a reason such as the jockey forgetting to put on some equipment.
Once again, are we looking at there needs to be a grey area with the BHA, doesn't it? They're so afraid of having any sort of discrepancies, aren't they? Whatsoever.
Stuart's inquiries, do you want discrepancies? Loads of grey areas if you want to go down that route.
I don't know. It's a very difficult one though, Dave, because if you start letting people off £2, coming in £2 light.
I think the horse had to be disqualified.
Yeah. But why was she fined? It's incredible. Look at the skies, people. We can understand why this has been done.
Yeah.
This is on this occasion. If it happens in midwinter, you can understand it. But on a very hot day like that, I thought it was a ridiculous decision, and I felt terribly for the main. And
I
£500
would
light, and she
concur,
lost the second.
concur with that.
Yeah, there needs to be a little bit of grey area there. Who have we got coming on in the socials? Let's get it up. Great interaction today. And Hugh Masson, one of our favourites, comes on and says, backing latest generation in the two-place market. Hugh, my goodness me, we're probably out of favour with you now, aren't we? Two-place market, 2.5. Pretty uninspiring, but surely solid. Well, he does like a second place.
Yeah, that's not really... We put him off for the win part. He's been second the last twice. So
he's also wearing a red head going down. Red head.
Red head. If he's got a red head, we
I'm
might
thinking
have
of Ginger Joe.
A little bit of trouble.
Yeah. Actually, he's not as warm as I thought he might be. I watched him at his last two starts. He's a horse that can get a little bit.
He has gone down better than Sylvester. Fantastic
has he?
Fox.
I didn't see the Fox go down.
Fox was a little bit keener than
was he spooked?
Not spooked, no. Which was.
All right. What's he doing on the exchange, Barry? I thought this was a horse where the 2-1 about him was definitely going to go. It hasn't.
No, he's steady away. He's 2.30 now, so just a little over 9 to 4. 3.35, 4.9 latest generation. He's strong. Guru is 5. That's another one that's been relatively steady. Mars a bit 7-4. 12-5 Mystery Smiles, who could go off and make it. Hopefully, Titan Rock, small few quid for that. 11 from 12.
Okay, the commander, Rowick out there, who's been one of our viewers from the very start, and a shrewd chap indeed, does not think Mystery Smiles should be the outsider. And I guess it's like all these puzzles, isn't it? Sometimes you sit and you think, I'm definitely not going to get interested in some of this card today. And then you look at it, anyone can solve a puzzle, can't they? And you think, actually, that's got a great chance. The more you look at this, perhaps it is a bit deeper. A word for the Guru, please.
For the Guru.
And again, Gurus are supposed to be, a helpful guide, aren't they, basically? And,
a spiritual guide.
And just someone that you look up to and mentors.
A bit like you, Dave.
This chap has got his own ideas, right?
A little bit. I thought he ran all right at Ascot last time.
It was a step back. That was behind Isla Kai, wasn't it?
Yeah, beating a neck.
He is a tricky chap. I tend to fall for these Gosden colours when they make their debuts.
Lady Bamford.
Obviously, it's Lady Bamford and Gosden. They've got good pedigrees. They tend to cost a few quid. They've got a right jockey on, and over the years, it's been a decent way for debutants, things like this. But this chap, he has been something of a red herring, I think. Again, more than talented enough to take this out off a mark of 90. But again, I'd like to see him in a bigger field. He's one of those you can just see. You need to sort of like switch him off.
Yeah, I would probably. Yeah, I could see that. He's got disappointed in the novice company, didn't he, after that win. It's a tricky race. I think your in-running punters are going to be key here. If you see Sylvester in control, whether that's leading or getting a lead in behind, that's going to be the big plus for Fantastic Fox after a couple of furlongs. You're going to probably, like G. Rod knew last time, you're going to know your fate quite early, I think, with him.
Okay, we're minutes away from the 225 at Ascot. It's a unanimous decision. We think the Fox will pounce in the business end of the box of this race, basically. Drifting out a little bit. He's been a little bit keen to post. He got a little bit warm beforehand. My goodness, he's a good-looking horse, though, isn't he?
I think ability-wise, he's a bit of a machine.
In terms of pure ability, we're surely looking at the best horse in the race. It's just the other bits and pieces that come along with the Fox, isn't it?
I know.
Is he going to throw his race away before the race? Yeah. Is he going to throw his race away in the early stages of the race?
But look, he is up against... probably, look, there are two horses in here. We don't know quite so much about Mystery Smiles. I'll give you that one. Because since his debut, and his second start, he's maybe been pitched a little bit too high. I'd say maybe he's straightforward. We don't really know enough about him in handicap company. Titan Rock, I'd say, is straightforward enough, although can take a bit of a keen. Marsabit, I suppose, is the one who's really got the resolution, isn't he? Of all of these. So Fantastic
winning,
Fox, my point, exactly. My point, and he's got experience. My point about Fantastic Fox is he's up against similar characters, potentially, so
yeah, I'm
not too worried about it.
Oh, he's got very warm, hasn't he? He's got very warm at the start.
When do you jump off a horse that gets overly white.
Well, a lot of people on Betfair seem to be jumping off, Dave, because he's a big drifter, isn't he,
It's
Barry?
not what you want to see.
Yeah, he's 11-4 now, 3.75. Latest generation 4753 Guru. Mystery Smiles, money for that into 8 from 12. And Titan Rock 11 from 12.
I can feel the confidence.
Yeah, he seems to be getting a little warm. But it's probably a warm day, isn't it?
Well, it's a warm day. The sun has come back out at Ascot, but he's just that. What we saw at Ascot, Barry. Interesting question for you, Barry, quickly, just as they amble around waiting to go in at the stalls. Is this what we see typically with these late drifters or these favourites? When something physically the layers don't like, they sense it. Hang on a minute, I can get this one beat. He's too sweaty. He's too keen.
Yeah, people obviously will take that into consideration and will inform their betting patterns ahead of the race. It's quite a significant sign towards a horse's chances. Interestingly, they have a chamois down there and they're drying them off and they're drying the reins of the horse, of SDS's reins as well. So, yeah, they were prepared for it by the looks of it.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I've watched a lot of Australian racing and in America as well, but particularly in Australia, it's something that the jockeys are given down at the start. They're all wiping them. Of course, in Australia, much hotter climate, but it doesn't bother them whatsoever, you know.
You only really see it at Derby. Aiden's only always got a member of his
There's always
staff
one of them,
to go and help them out. That's obviously a real long trek to start as well. He doesn't look too bad now. We're just seeing him go into stalls. There's a bit of hesitation.
I think everyone's got their own level of sweatiness that they don't like. You know, we've all got our sort of bars.
I always used to dislike the foaming. What do you think about that, James?
Foaming at the mouth?
Foaming at the mouth, horse.
Well, they tend to be nervous. They're worrying about things if they're doing that.
I haven't seen that.
Here we go.
All right, then. They're all in then. It is the 225 at Ascot. Good luck wherever you are playing. And the Fox just took a little jink there as he
He's
came
going to hold
out.
him up.
We're hoping that he's going to be settled a little bit better, though. I'm looking for Mystery Smiles. They've gone without him.
No, he missed the break, unfortunately, and he's
whoa.
absolutely ruined our race.
Oh, no, okay. So we were hoping for a front-running
There
Mystery
he is.
Smiles.
He's at the back.
That was your pick, wasn't it? The potential class horse. Very difficult to win from there, but they are going a solid pace, aren't they, G? Marsabit out in front.
Yeah, Masterbit's getting a bit of an easy, isn't he? I think, Dave. There's not much pace on, I don't think. I think he's getting an easy. This is a very surprising move on Fantastic Fox, isn't it? Would you have him out right at the back there?
I think he's fine. I actually quite like the way he's carrying his head. No?
Not sure.
Idea. Look, he's got 6-7 lengths to make up on our leader, and they're all got ground to make up. One by one, they're going.
I think he could have.
So you're
pulled
saying
a
he's
lot
giving
harder.
him a bad ride, is he?
I think it's tactics. That's what they agreed.
It was
But
a hospital pass, if ever I've heard one mid-race.
I would have let him stride on because he's keen in behind. He's got
Titan Rock has settled really well.
Go on now.
Yeah, well, let him kick. Okay, all right, fair enough. So we are thinking Sylvester, SDS, time to get moving. Don't forget, though, it is a stiff old finish here at Ascot. They're around about halfway, around about 3 furlongs to run then. This is where they go out. Has Holly Doyle done too much on Marsabit? Titan Rock coming. Guru coming. Mystery Smiles not totally done with, but how much damage did he do? Latest
Big trouble,
generation
the Fox.
under the pen. What has the Fantastic Fox got under the bonnet? At the moment, he's taking time to warm up. Marsabit looks cooked, doesn't he? Here comes Titan. Latest generation Guru. Will the Fox come over the top? Latent ability at the moment. I tell you what, Marsabit's coming back. Come on, the Fox near side. Can you possibly do it? Guru in the middle. Fantastic Fox. He's veering the other side. He's giving it to Marsabit. How's Guru going to get him on the line? Oh, it looks like Guru's got him. Okay, another tight finish. With all tight finishes wherever we look so far. Marsabit hit the flat spot, looked cooked, came back. Oisin Murphy, red hot barrier, looks like he's got up.
There's a difference of jockeys. One's riding at the top of his game at the moment, Oisin Murphy, and I think SDS gave that an absolute stinker of a ride. I'm sure if he had a chance to do it again, he'd do things very, very differently. 1.31 Marsabit traded in running for nearly 100 quid at the finish. Guru had a Betfair SP. Hit a high of 85 in running, would you believe? Just let me check how much that was for. No, it was only small money. More around double figures, around 14.5 on your winner, Guru, in running. Had a Betfair SP of 5.5. So it was very steady throughout, Guru in the betting.
5.5 then you got there. That was your BSP on track. I think it was about 7-2, wasn't it? Fantastic value as ever with that exchange starting price. Okay, let's pick the bones out of this then. Dramatic race from
Joke
get-go
of a
because
race.
Mystery Smiles just... Joke of a race?
Absolute joke of a race.
You're deflated, I can tell.
Yes, but to be fair, he tracked Guru, and if he was good enough, he should have probably gone past Guru. Holly's nearly stolen it.
Head on
He's
will be
given the best
interesting
ride.
here, which we're about to get in the studio. Latest generation, he has sort of spat the dummy out a little bit, I think, hasn't he?
He's beat the Quinn horse again, though, isn't he?
You could argue that perhaps he has run pound for pound with the Quinn horse, but Marsabit has run a massive race because he was there to be shot at. He did a lot early. What a nice attitude he's got. He's just been beaten by one that's timed it absolutely perfectly, G, isn't it? Fantastic Fox. Did he have a little jink towards the finish?
Oh, yes. What an interesting horse he is now. Fantastic Fox. He's like an enigma wrapped in a mystery, isn't he? What do we make of him?
Enigma wrapped in a mystery.
Oh, he's like...
Deary me.
Doesn't sound like a starter you would order that, does it? Absolutely not.
He's like he's a good horse waiting to happen, but it's not happening, is it? And what was that? It was just like he was in a mess at the back. He was too free, got really sweaty, did everything wrong, and then you still think he's going to come and win. Then just when he's going to come and win, he almost has a duck in behind.
Are we saying most talented horse third?
Yeah, I think the best horse has finished third. But how are they going to get this ability out of him?
There's an interesting word. Best is something that in the analysis department, we used to have this. We used to get these young analysis writers who were training or whatever, and you'd say, right, you can't say the best horse is third because the best horse has won, right? The best horse on the day is all that sort of thing. So the best horse, it's a very, very tricky one. That Marsabit you could potentially say is the best horse. He's done the donkey work, definitely a reluctant leader. But it's Holly Doyle. Come on, let's get on with it. What perhaps some people would be saying that SDS should have done a lot sooner. They were well strung out early, and yet he's come back at the finish. He's a little bit unlucky, isn't he? Unfortunate, certainly, Marsabit not to have actually got the verdict.
But he's
done the most running, isn't he?
He's had a perfect trip for me, Marsabit. I think he's not even third best, I'd say, because the other two have had to make up a lot of ground. Guru, I think fair play to him, he's actually knuckled down and picked up, because Sylvester is tracking him, but Sylvester's just too keen.
I'm going to say that Guru is going to have to be that sort of horse going forward, certainly unless he goes somewhere like America or somewhere like that, because he's going to need dropping on the line.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree with that. But
which is really difficult to do.
Stronger pace would also drag him into
the bigger field, we said beforehand, might suit him. So yeah, it could be. I think that could be a strong race, couldn't it? Certainly talent-wise. Let's have a look at what's won it in the last 10 years. A horse called Czar won it for John Gosden last year. Looking down Mustachery, very talented horse. He won Lockage, didn't he? Portage, Dubai. Chill the Kite. You can see good horses come out of that. Cambridgeshire.
Yeah, you could see that. John Gosden with a 3-year-old in the Cambridgeshire.
Marsabit as well, and probably Fantastic Fox.
Yeah, that would suit him. A stronger pace would help Sylvester settle him, but you could see going on the start, Sylvester was worried and they had a hander down to wipe the sweat off him. They were going to hold him up at all costs. I do expect his ownership mate was the pacemaker. And
he's not going to be a cult for much longer, is he, Fantastic Fox? I think we can probably...
Not if he continues doing what he's doing.
I just had to check he wasn't already a gelding, because that would worry you. So that might calm him down a bit. So, listen, we've lost the battle, perhaps not the war with the Fox. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, but I suppose we would have said that after the last race, Dave. Yeah. He is that sort of horse, isn't he, now?
Well done if you kept the face with Jonathan Gosden and Oisin Murphy. Oisin Murphy is having some summer, isn't he? Absolutely. Magnificent stuff at the moment for the current champion jockey. Looks like it's going to be another one in the bag. And again, Marsabit, few of you are out there on that one. Just keep with the Huey Morrison. He places his horses so well. Fantastic Fox, another day for him. We must move on because the 240 at York. We've had a small field, tactical affair. Not here, Barry. This is going to be a barnstormer. Loads of runners.
Yeah, and the big springer in this has been Lahore, the top weight, who was a 33 to 1 chance. And there's 2 non-runners in it, so there's 14 runners cut a post, but he was a 33 to 1 chance lower. And he's on the exchange now. He's currently trading on the Betfair Exchange at 21, but he was in the single figures on the sportsbook. Would you believe he was a 9 to 1 chance earlier? Blind Beggar, the only 3-year-old in the race, heads the market at the moment. 6.0, 8.2 Mondamage. Gulliver 9.6, absolutely luckless in Ireland last week. Gulliver, I think he'll run a big race here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to lay Mondamage. He's a horse. He's been on the go now. They dip him every week. He seems to. It's his 8th run. This will be since May. All over 5 furlongs, bar the all-weather run in Newcastle, where he ran well to finish second over 6 furlongs to Itchalab. I just think they've the legs run off the horse. I think he's a bit of a monkey as well. I won't go through all the stats about how low he's traded, Dave, but suffice to say he's traded very low. But I'm laying him in the place market, even though he seems to be there or thereabouts. You can currently lay him at about 3.1, 3.2, around that. So we're looking to take 50 quid at the backer stake in the 3 place market, please, G-Rod. And that's the play here.
Okay, yeah, 50 at 3.2 in the 3 place market.
Thank you, Barry. We have a head-to-head then for the first time this afternoon because Mr. Millman, keep it brief. You are a Mondamage fan.
Well, I keep putting him up.
You should learn from Barry. Barry's been kind to Mondemege. Like let me tell you, he's not giving us the figures. But if Latest Generation was going to be on that list, Mondemege was going to be top of it, I think.
Yeah, he's tricky. Like he's going to tricky. It just feels like one of these sprint handicaps is going to fall his way. I didn't like it. I didn't really like anything in the race really to nail your colours to the mast. So I just thought, give him another chance.
One day,
this
is just all going to go his way.
He ran out.
Do you want to know his numbers, James? In his last
1 point.
Come on, let's have him, Barry.
166.
Yep.
2.6, 2.02, 6, and 3.5. They're his last 5 runs. So.
But yeah, see, I disagree with the place angle. I think that's a brave angle for the place leg because he does tend to run his race. But
Love it. We've got a head-to-head, and Barry's right. Let's go all in.
He's gone all in with the
place.
place.
The numbers
I think,
out.
yeah. I just thought he was a surefire each way candidate. But he's just been frustrated, running really well all season, and he was third to Copper Knight here at York. So he has got a bit of course form.
Kills us back, this chap. Paul Keeley, top tips for the Racing Post. Saturday Sizzlers, doing the Scissors tomorrow, by the way, in your Racing Post. The Sunday Scissors, there'll be Kills'. Mondemege is one of his biggest project horses, G, isn't it? He's actually backed him for the Stewards Cup, but he's gone against him in this with Streamline. It was one of my biggest hopes of the day. Clive Cotsworth behind Mondemege last time. Going to come on, I think, for that all-weather run. His York form looks good. His 2-year-old form looks good. I think this will have been the target, Streamline, for me. Kills has jumped off onto Streamline as well. Says actually he could do with Mondemege winning because, you know, that will see him get into next week's Stewards Cup fine. But he thinks basically the Stewards Cup, everything right about Goodwood, more than talented enough to win it, just thinks this won't be his day, basically. So Mondemege, very topical horse. He's almost a bit like King's Lynn, isn't he, now in the group ranks. He's got that
Mondemege
following.
to King's Lynn.
You do?
He's annoyed me more.
That's the game, isn't it? Absolutely, that is the game. I don't know.
I kind of knew when you back Mondemege.
Methodical, mathematical man, for you to put up Mondemege, this is a project.
But you know when you back him that it's probably going to fall that way. But when it lands, it's going to be good.
He's in 15, of course, so he's going to be looking for something to lead him. Maybe Streamline right next door in 13, pretty much, isn't he? They might be up there early. G, where did you go in this? You got a big play.
Yeah, I fancy the favourite. I think he is in the moment, the Blind Beggar.
Yeah.
I think that this one ran a very eye-catching race over the course and distance, 2 starts ago. When I hesitate to say that he would have won, but he would have gone very close to winning. He didn't get the clearest of runs. He was in a bit of trouble in running, and he still finished off the race quite well, despite not getting an ideal passage through the race. Now, his previous run, he won by 9 lengths at Catterick. In a 6-furlong sprint. That doesn't happen too often in 6-furlong sprints.
What was the ground that day?
It was very testing.
Yeah, okay, that would make a bit more sense.
But there must be some engine in there for him to be able to do that.
He's been running in top 3-year-old company, isn't he? First Folio, of course, at York, as you mentioned, and Blackrod in that hot Newmarket race. I would forgive any 3-year-old a poor run in that.
Yeah, traditionally a very good race, isn't it, that 3-year-old? Thrown up a few really good 3-year-olds. Dashing Star, I think, was one of them who went on to win the Stewards Cup. I think there might well have been another Stewards Cup winner come out of that race.
Very possibly. G, before we go on with your argument for the Fav, the 3-year-old, let's get some more in there. Spotlight also going for Mondemege as well. It's going up. Mally Draycott, welcome along, Mally. Golden Apollo worth a punt. All right, we'll go and concentrate on him in a minute. Oh, frustrating Golden Apollo can be. Oh, I'm talking about frustrating horses. Barry mentioned him. Frizzy Red comes back on and says Gulliver, and a small bet on Golden Apollo as well for me. Real projects then, these sprinters, aren't they? Gulliver, Barry, let's give you the word on that. This is not the first time on this show, Barry, that you've gone Gulliver. God, he was unlucky last time he ran.
Yeah, he was. He went back to the curve for a race that he had won he had finished second in the previous year after trading at nearly 100-1 on. I think he's a horse that pops up in these handicaps, and when everything falls right for him, as you could say about half the field here, when everything falls right for him, he could pop up at a decent price. He's currently 9.0, so he's an 8-1 chance of the win only market on the exchange. But just when he was breaking from the stalls in the curve, he got banged into sideways. You know those races, like if it doesn't go right from the gate, you're always on the back foot, and he was on the back foot right from the get-go. He didn't give us true running there, but he will pop up in one of these handicaps before the season's out.
He's owned by the Withensea Thoroughbreds. He's the dartboard, isn't it? You see Escobar going over to the
That's right,
as well, don't you? Yeah, okay. Likes York, that's for sure. He really does like York, actually. He's a 4-time winner, Gulliver there. Can I pour some scorn on your Blind Beggar?
Go for it.
Fahy, 18 runners in the last 10 years, 1 place. 3-year-olds, 9 runners in the last 10 years, 1 winner. And now when you hear you being you, stats like that, is that music to your ears because you know it's going to break the stat basically, or is it like
Not necessarily, no, but it's not something that would hugely worry me if
3-year-old stat, no? That would worry me a little bit.
3-year-old sprinters against old horses, that tends to be the one, doesn't it? Golden Apollo, drawn in 14, course and distance winner, definitely come back to the last 2 starts. Absolutely everything has to go his way, doesn't it?
Yeah, likes York, don't he?
Does like, how many, I bet he goes low in
I think
money
he's
a
finished
lot, doesn't he?
second in this race twice and 4th another time, Golden Apollo. I think he's got an amazing record in the race.
Yeah, he was second last year. Good shout, G, off 91. That was behind Musico, I'm assuming, takes his place.
Yeah, he's back in.
He's in it as well. So the 1-2 from last year, that's a great thing about these sprinters, the longevity, isn't it? If you had to own a horse, give it any distance to own a horse, what would it be?
Yeah, I'd go for a sprinter. Would you?
All the time?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah.
I
I like to get my money's worth. I like to see him run every week. If I had a trainer, I'd go for Mark Johnson because he runs every week.
And Mark Johnson trained sprinter. Good luck with that project. All right then, we are off and running very shortly for the 240 at York. It's the dash. They're off. Good luck wherever you have played. Looking out the back, where's Blind Beggar?
Yeah, he's away.
Bang up there, isn't he?
Yep.
Okay, so they're coming down the centre, guys. That looks like it's going to be the play. Mondam Edge, unsurprisingly, James, right out the back.
Didn't break too bad for him, no. He's travelling nice and strongly, but he's a little bit keen there for Cam Hardy.
Streamline, my pick, a little bit keen in midfield, just behind Mondam Edge last time, wasn't he? So the pace is being set. Basically, yeah, Blind Beggar right up there, G, isn't he?
Yeah, lovely position here, Dave. I'm very, very hopeful. They're going quite quick, though, are they?
They absolutely are. Admiralty, another horse that's always thereabouts in these places. Now Mondam Edge gets on the move. Streamline going as well. Come on, G, could this be the Beggar? Lahore as well. Barry mentioned him. He's got a lot of ground to make up, but not yet fully off the bridle. I'll tell you what, the Beggar, he's getting weight from all of them. What's this on the far side? Gio Jobbo, is that right? Gio Bolo, whatever it's called. He's running an absolutely massive race.
Oh, what's this?
Gordo as well there as well. Okay, this, it looks like it's Music Society, is it? That's the colours you know so well. It's going to be Easter Bee. Venturous is coming late as well. Streamline falls out the back of the telly. Not good at all.
Come on, Beggar, keep going.
He's running. Will Venturous get him? Music Society and Venturous. Venturous to the line. Music Society. Another one.
Venturous, I think.
Another close
Venturous.
one. Venturous got up, Barry?
Well, I don't know. It looks like he did, yeah. It looks like to me like he did. Venturous, yeah. If I had to call it, I'd say Venturous. He's favourite in the photo. He's 1.26, so 4 is on the photo. 101 there. They must have called it.
Is that every single race we've had so far has gone to a photo?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's been very close.
Isn't it?
Yeah, Guru was close.
Soul Seeker and
yeah.
they're all very close, weren't they? The first race, of course, Princess Margaret. That was very close as well. And yeah, okay. I got a feeling the old Venturous has got up. His horse that I was following at the start of the season, I just got off the bandwagon. I think he's got up, hasn't he? I think.
Yeah, Venturous has won, I think.
Venturous has beaten Music Society. It looks Blind Beggar. Did a lot of the running, didn't he? Yeah, you can see there on the. He's absolutely. You can see. Has it been called Gallery? I think they might be moving to something like that. Is that the Betfair SP?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got
103 Music Society traded at 33 to 1 on for over 200 quid in running. Yeah, he looked to be home, didn't he? But Venturous got up. Betfair SP of 44, Venturous. He hit a high in running because he had to come from the back of the field, didn't he?
Yeah.
He hit a high in running of 180 for nearly a tenner. 180 on the Betfair Exchange for nearly a tenner. And Mondam Edge was beat out of places.
Easy.
I backed him on his penultimate run when he was 6th to Copper Knight. And I think I backed top 6 places that day. I was quite pleased because he was scrubbed along all the way. Who was on him? Was it Connor Beasley? He usually rides him, doesn't he? Yes, it's Connor Beasley on him. So stall 12 beats stall 8. So not great glean there. Okay, that's the penultimate race. Would you believe it? I think we're covering it at York, isn't it?
Yeah, just the main feature.
We've got the main dish coming up, haven't we? Mahatha, of course, we've got coming up in, 3:15. All right, we've got Mahafeth, I should say. So difficult, isn't it? Armory, Juan Elcano, Bangkok and Montatham coming up in the 3:15. Can Armory give the weight away to the now odds-on Mahafeth? Let us know. We know you're out there. We have great numbers in the last couple of weeks watching this show. Quite right too. We're going places. Don't you worry about that with the Betfair Exchange. And a little bit of sportsbook thrown in for you as well today. All right, Barry Orr, 3:15 at York is coming up. That's a tasty one, but it's not as tasty to me as the 3 o'clock. Is this called the Challenge? This handicap, or is it? It's a
Moët
champagne.
Chandon.
The Moët Chandon. That's I would prefer a glass of Moët Chandon to a Challenge. I can tell you that much. And this is an absolute belter. And we could see one of the handicap performances of the last 10 years, because is he top of the market? We can just see the outside.
Yes.
There. He is. You know who I'm talking about, Barry?
Yeah, the Bunbury Cup winner, Mutakahl, 6.0 on the exchange, your favourite, ahead of Danya, who's 6.6, 7.4 Aldaye, and Matthew Flinders is 7.0, Star of Orion, 8. So it's very tight at the top of the market. They're the 4 or 5 runners that are in single figures at the moment. I like Star of Orion in it. And what I'm going to do, G-Rod, I'm going to back it on the Betfair Sportsbook, because there's enhanced place terms in the Betfair Sportsbook. It's 6 places to each way punters, and I like that. The only 3-year-old in the field, Lara Parsons, claims a valuable 5 as well. Gets it in here with 8 stone. Last time out winner, got a £3 penalty for beating Caswald over 7 furlongs in Newmarket. And disappointed in the Britannia over a mile. I think the 7 furlongs is perfect. Rev Beckett's horses are running okay, and drawn in 15. I like that draw as well. So Star of Orion, 25 quid each way, taking advantage of the enhanced place terms on the Betfair Sportsbook, which are 6 places, and we've shown them to good effect already today.
I'll tell you what, he's quite an interesting horse, this Barry, isn't it? I saw that he was prominent in the market, and I had to have another good look at him. Lightly raced, Laura Pearson, of course, claiming the 5, broke through at Royal Ascot. She had an incredible winter. That is a start in its ascendancy. Like that, absolutely. For King Rafe Beckett coming out of 15 then.
They get £7 to 3-year-olds if they wait for age, which is a massive help as well.
Let's have a look at 3-year-olds in this race. I poo-pooed Graham's one. They ran absolutely very well indeed. 21 have run in the last 10 years, just the 3 places. So not ideal, is it, for the 3-year-olds? Who did you like, James Millman?
I'm sticking with the old handicap 7 furlong specialist, the one who won the Bunbury Cup, Mutakahl, who is only actually £3 higher, and he would have carried that £3 very, very easily.
Is that because of the jockey's claim as well, yeah?
No, just he's got...
Oh, yeah, it goes up to a mark of 118, doesn't he? And he's off 112.
He's £6 well in.
£3 penalty.
112 or 112.
And they're claiming, aren't they?
No, Dane rides.
Oh, okay, all right, sorry.
But yeah, I just think he loves the track. He loves 7 furlong handicaps, quick ground, right up his street. So he's still 19. He's going to be a little bit nearer the stand side, which could be a good thing. I think stalls 1 to 10 don't have a great record in the race, and I just thought he's solid. I'd be very surprised if he wasn't in the first 4.
We were talking yesterday amongst ourselves, Paul Keely and a couple of other minds for the Racing Post, about great weight-carrying performances. The Bunbury Cup was certainly one of them, G, wasn't it? There's only a few horses, I think, that have lumped that sort of mark. And the way he won it obviously was impressive. He loves Newmarket, doesn't he? But he has won at Ascot, of course. Do you just think this is, or despite the fact it's an extra £3 and there are sexy handicap horses lurking on bottom weights, if you like, can this be done?
Yeah, he's well handicapped, isn't he? Like James was saying, he's £6 well in. So if the handicapper could reassess him for this race, he would be carrying £6 more, or should we probably say, the others would be carrying £6 less, because he'd just keep more of them.
No, he would actually, he'd go up.
Would he go up above 10 stone?
Because if you're 110, that's your 9 stone 10, and anything above 110, so you would...
So you think he would be racing off 10 stone?
Yeah, because he's got 913
then
today.
Then they might have claimed.
So he'd have 10.5.
I don't know why I got into my head they were claiming. It must have been one of the others I was looking at. But that puts me off him, I have to say. And he's drawn in 19. Probably we think that's probably not a bad thing at all, is it? But they've got Danya in the race as well, who Dane has been riding because he's often been second string in these races. They've got Aldari in there as well, Shadwell, Tom Marquand, William Haggis. He would have welcomed the rain. I think we can say that. It hasn't come. Again, I thought Daniel would have gone off favourite here. The punters are sticking with what they saw in the Bunbury Cup, the classy Mutakahl.
Yeah, he's a Group 1 horse in a handicap, do you think?
Is he a Group 1 horse?
I'd say Group 2 max. I think he'll always... I think that handicaps see him in his best
Our
light.
handicappers said, I know because I put the Racing Post ratings assessment onto the analysis race. I did the Bunbury Cup, and I'm always keen to see what our handicappers say about such a weight-carrying performance. Outstanding, basically, but he's a horse that when he has got up to the different scenario of group racing, often smaller fields, etc., hasn't really gone on with it, and they said that would be a worry for him.
But he's not going to have that.
Is that why we're seeing him in the handicap, or is it because he's just thrown in? Let's roll the dice again, give him a break, bring him back.
More prize money.
Yeah.
I think he's a gelding anyway, so there's no stud value as such.
7 furlongs, big field, Ascot's no problem. When he won his first Bunbury Cup, I remember thinking, I wonder if he'll be as effective at Newmarket as he was when he won at Ascot, because Ascot a much stiffer track. So I don't see the track being any issue at all. I mean, we know that he acts well at Ascot, and he's the best handicapped horse in the race. He's very, very solid, sure to run well. And the only alarm bell that got ringing in my head was, why is Jim Crowley not there? Why is he going to York instead to ride Mahaffey?
I think he's a superstar, doesn't he?
So how good does he think Mahaffey is?
They think that's the next stallion, don't they? They've gelded, of course, Al-Azi now, haven't they? So
Yeah, which is
that stallion duty's off for him.
move.
So Mahaffey, quite a lot riding on his shoulders.
Absolutely. It just made me think either they think Mahaffey is an absolute superstar, or they're not quite as confident with
It was
Matakayo.
an easy choice. I don't think there was a choice. I don't
reckon?
I don't think it was even.
I tell you what, Sod's Law is one of the biggest things in racing, isn't it? And if Daniel was to go and win this, Dane O'Neill would be absolutely spitting feathers, because this chap has run some
They
very
don't usually
big
get it
races.
wrong, though, do they? These Shadwell jockeys, Jim Crowley and Dane O'Neill, usually they pick right.
Well, it was interesting when he rode this horse in the Buckingham Palace last year at Royal Ascot. Jim rode him, Dane rode Muta Masek, and Muta Masek was 7-1, and Muta Kahir was 14-1. So people thought Jim had got it wrong, and the retained jockey got it
It was
completely
the
right.
same in Monte Carlo's first Bunbury Cup. The Chadwell had a horse in the race in his first Bunbury Cup that was ridden by Ryan Moore, that went off favourite because Ryan was riding it, and yet again Jim Crowley was on the right one.
It's odd that I've been thinking about jump racing as you guys have been talking, because you see these horses coming back year in, year out. We've been talking throughout the winter about the better horses should be going and lumping the weights in handicap. Well, Motokai is basically everything that we're just talking about there, isn't he? He's a 5-year-old now, he's well established. He always gives absolutely everything. I've backed the two horses against him that ran 3rd and 4th in the Bunbury Cup. I've had a little bit on Lord Rapscallion, who's got a lot of 2nds and 3rds and 4ths next to his name, but everything looks like this is going to run well. Those top 6, I'd be surprised if he was out of them. And Shine So Bright, who I put up for the Bunbury Cup, they held him up that day. At last, they held up Shine
Okay,
So
you
Bright.
thought that was
It was a
that's what he
definite plan.
wants.
And Andrew Balding has come out and said in the paper this morning that was a ploy. And what a time to do it. And he absolutely flew. Go and look back in your members.
But it was a bad race. It was a bad race to do it in, because it meant there was no pace at all, and Holly nearly stole it really on Lord
This
Rapscallion.
finish is going to be absolutely perfect for him. You know, sometimes you get a project and you think, yeah, this is going to take a little while to come off, but I've got to stick with it. I'm looking at this, and everything I see about this shines so bright. I think this is going to run a solid. He's a Group 2 winner.
Sort of also.
He's as good as Motokael on back form. He's getting, £13 to him. He's drawn in 6, so I want some pace over the far side, obviously. But I'm glad he's not in the middle. So he's the one.
Yeah, I don't think from a draw perspective, I don't really think there's a lot in it either side. Having looked at it, I think 9 of the last 10 winners were drawn in double figures.
Yes, they were.
But if you dig deeper into the figures, in terms of
this is something you like to do,
beaten.
isn't it, G? Not just the winners, looked at the place horses, next top 5 and everything like that. Stall 2 has won it, of course, in 2015. Heaven's Guest won it for.
Stalls 1 and 2 are fairly good in terms of percentage rivals beaten.
Let's have a look at a social interaction out there. Where are our viewers? Let's have a look. And Paul Bakewell comes back on and says, Starsheba, old Shrewdy David Ellsworth, he is that all right, has plotted this one. Johnny Pete running off his minimum weight. Let's have a look. Starsheba. Okay, claiming 7. First time pieces on for Starsheba, who, joining 16. I thought Starsheba was going to kick on a bit, and really hasn't done it. But Elsie, these sort of races, when you see an Elsie runner in, you're like, all right, okay.
I mean, he stays a mile. That's why his 2 most poor efforts have been at Kempton and at Salisbury last time when I covered the meet, and he didn't stay a mile. Johnny Pete, very rare for a handicap nowadays. He's actually got 7 stone 9. Don't often see that happen anymore. So he's got right at the bottom end of the race. I wouldn't rule you out there with Starsheba.
Okay, all right then, Paul Bakewell, good to have you back on. Reminder of who the spotlight went for here, guys, if we can. Let's have a little reminder. Where did Mondamedge finish in the last race, by the way?
It was unplaced.
7th.
Barry won the battle. Barry won the battle. I was wrong.
Barry was
I
quick
take no
on the
joy
mark
in
there.
that. I take no joy in that whatsoever.
Go and win the Stewards' Cup now and really rub it in with Keeley next week.
I will give up on him finally.
I'm glad that we looked, because it's Matthew Flinders, of course, as you've seen in the corner, I'm sure. He's £10 well in, isn't he, of course, after that, finally showing his true colours again last time. And again, if you want to rub it in, if he wins, I backed him in the Hunt Cup. I backed him at York the time before that, I think. He's a horse that has not dropped the bridle. But Ed Walker's having a good meet already, isn't he? Was it double he had yesterday?
They're just flying full stop, aren't
he's
they,
just
really? They're having a cracking
It's
season.
Starman, really, isn't it? If you remember, Royal Ascot, the one stable cat you didn't want to be was Ed Walker's, because with the ground and everything. And even
You asked me on the
Dream
Wednesday.
Loper that hacked up in the listed race yesterday.
Napping a meeting,
Starman.
pulled out of the ground. Prima Ballerina, she was pulled out. Yeah, but he's absolutely
Primo
flying.
Baggio, did you call it
Ballerina, whatever, wrong.
Primo wrong, yeah, fair enough.
Just
He is flying, yeah.
Matthew Flinders, I know he's £10 well in, but he's been beat off this mark. I think that's quite harsh for the handicapper.
It's one of those listed marks, isn't it? The handicapper has to put them up, G, doesn't it? Again, you see it in jumps racing. Again, we'll bring it back. Horses that go up in against something and they're like, that hasn't really run its race, is it? Probably the favourite or the winner or whatever has run way below and still won the race or something like that. But these listed races back in handicaps or novice races, these stick-out ratings, you can't trust them, can you?
I find it quite hard when you're handicapping horses because there are sometimes winners that you want to be very positive about. You're like, oh, well, like that winner, yeah, looks very good. I'm going to give him this rating. Now, the problem that you then have is if you give him a high rating that you think that will then put him ahead of his mark next time, you're then also going to probably be putting the second miles ahead of their rating and the third. So you have to be a little bit careful in overrating winners because you don't want these horses that have a habit of finishing second and third then coming out hugely high next time.
Yeah, of course. All right. So we're not totally sure about Matthew Flinders, but again, if he wins, I'll be banging. I'll be ready to leave. Let's put it that way. Barry.
Has Ropey guessed any chance?
Oh man.
Oh no.
What's the place market? How many are we
Ropey
going down?
guessed.
We've got to be careful here.
Did
because
you just say
we all
that
love
because Dave's
Ropey
here?
guests. But we again did this with Kills yesterday, and someone suggested that this is the time for Ropey guest, and I went, I knew someone was going to tip him in these handicaps. Barry, he was a massive gamble, wasn't he? Was it Royal Ascot, Barry? Where was the gamble?
Yeah, he
7-1.
behind Rohan. They dropped him back to the 6
That's
furlongs
it.
that day. Yeah, in the Wokingham. Yeah, 7-1 he went off. Yeah, he's got some good Ascot form though. Like, don't forget, he wasn't beaten that far in the Jersey a couple of years back. Like, but he does struggle to get his head in front. But he's 6 lengths to find with Moot the Cahill from the Bunbury Cup run, and I think Ascot suits him better. This trip, the 7 furlongs in Ascot suits him better as well. The straight track in Ascot is right up his alley.
I said you could rub it in if Matthew Flinders won. You could definitely have to find someone for this seat for the rest of the show.
Oh,
if Ropey
Ropey
Guest
Guest.
goes and wins. That has seen a
You
few
love
quid
him,
of mine.
don't you, Dave?
Well, I used to. I think it might have been the Balmoral last year or something, or the one before that. I was absolutely convinced it was today. I think he wants the ground, Barry. I think he wants slightly softer ground, doesn't he? He was 4th in the Jersey. That's the one where everyone was like, okay, we're going to get one in Ropey. He was a maiden for such a long time, wasn't he? It's a great time at Chelmsford, but this is his only win, isn't
What
it?
RPI do you think he got at Chelmsford when he actually got off the mark?
It was really low, wasn't it?
79.
Oh wow! And when he won, it was a 79.
That was all he managed to do to get his head in front.
But we'd all love it, of course, if Ropey Guest won because he massively deserves it, and he turns up to every dance, doesn't he? And George Margerson, it's a great yard, great operation. So a word for the Ropey. Where's the social? Let's have a look. Ginger Joe says, worth a try-cast on the Shadwell 3.
Wouldn't put you off them, wouldn't they? They've all got chances.
Could see it, couldn't you? They
Aldari would be the one that worried me. I know the market's suggesting that because he's the biggest of them. But does he? I mean, he was really impressive when he won first time up this year. I spoke to Mr. Haggis about him, and he could tell he was purring about him. He wanted to run him in the Jersey. That was going to be the big plan. Was it Goodwood they went to? Wasn't it horrible ground? Even though he likes soft ground, and it's fair to say it didn't go to plan. Let's just put it that way. And there was a few chats between them. I think the connections on that.
What do you call him? Aussie Tom.
Tom the Pom.
Yeah, Tom the Pom. Yeah, that's it. Is he on? He doesn't ride too many for Shadwell, does he, Tom Markand? I think he's had one for Shadwell.
Really?
He would have had more than that.
I think so. I think it's
No,
more.
that's a wrong. That's a
Fairly
wrong.
certain
No,
it's
that's definitely a wrong
A
stat.
call out. We've had a head-to-head with the horse, Mondomedge, and went Barry's way. Which way is this head-to-head going?
would have
One
ridden-
ride for Shabba. You sure?
One ride, yeah.
That's the stat of the day, if that's right, D-Rock.
I can't.
Oh no, I'm feeling for G's now. His reputation, people will be out there going, please be wrong.
I'm fairly sure it's right.
That is absolutely incredible if it is. We'll let James play around with that one out there. Okay, you've still got time to let us know because they are what your selections are. It's 2:59, it's 3 o'clock, the race off time, but a couple are still going down. Kimmy 5, again, who's one of those horses that you're all following out there. He's on the bridle horse, isn't he? And he doesn't quite deliver. What about Raising Sand? Old favourites in here as well. The rain hasn't materialised for him. Just a word about Aldari. I just remember I was saying that. Obviously he's a 3-year-old. We know the stats not good for the 3-year-olds, but they thought at the start of his career he didn't need soft ground. That was the line I remember. And it just happened, and it rained when he turned up, and he coped on it well. He ran well at Royal Ascot, didn't he? Because he kind of got a bit far back and difficult to make up ground in that race. I think was it Britannia, wasn't it? He was in. Let's have a look.
Royal Ascot races can be a bit like that, can't they?
Yeah, would you forgive him?
It's a bit like Cheltenham, isn't it? So some races at Cheltenham handicaps where your chance has gone after about half a circuit, isn't it? You know, it's a bit like that Ascot, isn't it?
Horrible. Yeah, if you're on the wrong side.
A bit too far behind, everything has to go right for you to win those big Royal Ascot handicaps.
The more you look down this field, it is an absolute cracker. All these favourite names, isn't it? All right, so top 6 to remind you on the sportsbook, of course. Are you going, is it place bets? You're looking for A versus B in this? Let us know. You've still got time because Matthew Flinders, Oisin Murphy, of course.
He's been caught out as the bear. The bear's been caught out.
The bear's going to have to go back into hibernation.
Yeah. So Stuart's inquiry.
How many?
Well, the problem is you're correct about Shadwell, but you've gone about Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum.
Well, that was my point. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. You can tell who the ex-lawyer is, isn't it? Can't you?
Technically,
Wasn't keeping it brief there, was he? He was absolutely...
Shadwell is correct, but he's 8 from 42 with Sheikh Hamdan Al Maktoum.
Oh,
when he was with us.
listen.
Different owner.
Oh no, we're not. We're the same colours, same operation.
Listen, if there's a stewards on this panel, it goes over to Dublin. And let me tell you, Dublin has adjudicated. The bear is right. Technically, he's right. That's a caller, isn't it? I wanted you to be right so much, Joe. Let me just tell you.
I knew the Marcando red and winners.
It's absolutely nothing live. Well done, G-Rod.
This
Fantastic. How long did it take you to find out that stat? You must have done some real homework on that.
I'm almost as happy as the time when I suggested that grey horses jump better and John Howes agreed with me.
Turned out to be completely wrong. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, there you go. Did you think he was wrong out there? You probably did, didn't you? All right, okay. Look, technically, you're right. You have been called out, though, as being an absolute scoundrel for that stat.
New favourite here, lads.
Who is it, Barry?
Matthew Flinders' favourite, 5-1 chance on the exchange, now 6.0. Danya's ahead of the horse in same ownership, Mudical, 5.968. Mudical 7.8. Alde 8.
Oh, okay. It's going to be an absolute belter. This. I'll do my best to call your horse out there. Let me tell you, it's not going to be straightforward. I'm bound to mess up a few. 19 go to post, of course. We are around about half an hour away from the King George. Let me tell you, the final 2 races here on RP Live. This is the place to be. Unmissable stuff. The previews will give you the race time reaction, then the analysis of the York Stakes, of course. Mahafeth up against Armoury. It's going to give us a little steer onto the Prince of Wales form with Love, the favourite in the King George. Yes, the most iconic of races is with us at 3:35. That's where we'll be bringing down the curtain on this week's show. So much still to come. Get your Goodwood picks in if you want. We'll try and shout a few out for next week as well. Can I give you a line on Guru, the previous winner, please? John Gosden, we've got Lee Mottershead on track. Always been a talented horse, was unlucky here the other day. Guess what, guys? Cambridgeshire, we got it right there. We have an early Cambridgeshire Gosden when they got a 3-year-old going places. Right up his street, that'll be, wouldn't it?
You'd imagine so. Big, strong pace, and he's finding some form again, isn't he?
John?
But the 3-year-olds are shocking, though.
All right, last one going in then. All right. Good luck. This is a mini Cambridgeshire of itself, isn't it? Who's going to lead? Will it be far side? Will it be near side? Let's get a look for what the guys say. And good luck wherever you're playing. They are off and running. Shine so bright. Once again, SDS anchors. Don't do a fantastic Foss, SDS. Whatever you do, have them a little bit closer, please. But Lord Rapscallion, third in the Bunbury Cup. Leading old rival Motakael. It's a Bunbury Cup repeat at the moment because Hollydale is leading Star Sheba on the near side. Is that Aldari on the far side? Dania leading the far side. James, what do you reckon?
Yeah, Shine So Bright is dead last once again at the back of the field.
Oh, that's going to be a painful watch this, G, isn't it, for me, I think?
I think they're going quite fast here, Dave. They're going off fairly fast. Danyar's blazing a trail in the middle. Got 2 groups. Quite interesting they've come near side, isn't it?
Yeah, the interesting thing is, Barry, let's come into you. Only 6 have come down, 7 it is, that have come down the near side.
Yeah, Matthew Flinders, your favourite in running at 4.5 and shortening all the time. Mutakahel's 2.4 now, gone clear favourite Mutakahel on far side.
Yeah, he's absolutely cruising Motakahel.
Here comes the Group 1 horse.
Just absolutely loving life. Matthew Flinders, where is he? He's tracking his rival. Will he get there? I don't think so. Now he's off the bridle. Will something lighter weighted coming? So Shelbell 1-2 at the minute. It's on my quad on it. I'm not sure. In fact, here comes, I'll tell you what, what's this? Star of Orion there. You can tell Barry Orr is absolutely loving life because here comes the Beckett 3-year-old. Motakahel at the moment. Dance Fever in there as well for Team Clive Cox. But look, Cliff Capri on the inside. Dania. Oh, is she going to get it? Is Dance Fever going to get it? Far side, Dania. He's got his big day. Oh! His big day in the sun. It's between Dania, Star of Orion and Dance Fever. I think we can say Dance Fever was third. Whoo! Let's give Barry Orr a little bit of time to compose himself. You've either got it or you very nearly had it, Barry.
Nah, I think there's no doubt Dania's won. For my money, no doubt Dania's won. Yeah, unfortunately.
Are you sure?
I wouldn't mind, but Star of Orion was drawn 15 and came over the stand side and ended up out the centre of the track. So I'd say you could mark him up for that run, definitely. Yeah, definitely mark him up for that.
The centre of the track has been the place to be. It's a little bit funny, isn't it? When you got horses drawn like that don't explore that far side. Paul Keeley will be steaming at the moment, let me tell you, because it is faster on the far side. That, according to the going stick, than it is down the middle. That's where they've ended up. But Daniel James looks like he's got it then, doesn't he? Just by a smidgen. He's beaten Star of Orion, Dance Fever, Clifford's Capri, an absolute blinder. Aldari was fifth, Motakahel only sixth. Loads of people have backed him each way, though, of course.
Yeah, he's kind of hit the front on his side and ended up weakening. He's actually only finished third in his group. Dania, he's gone hard from a long way out, and fair play to him on the bigger group. He's kept on going. They're spread right across the track. Shines so bright, I'm afraid he's dead last. He's really
shakes
struggled.
as if something's not quite right with him. He's hardly raised a gallop, and that's sort of how my afternoon's going. But don't worry, 2 more shots for me, and I'm pretty confident in the next at York as well. Definitely the eye catcher of the race, due Clifford of Capri in fourth. Yeah,
he's that sort of horse though, isn't he? There's quite a few of these who are. The market got it right in the end with the Hamden ones, and Dane O'Neill got it wrong for a change. So William Buick riding the winner.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, Laura Pearson, isn't she a talent in the saddle then? Clive Cox and Dance Fever, a last time out winner, strong form. He's danced the dancers, isn't he? He started off in April. He started off in Lincoln, of course, he was fourth. He then started off on the Hunt Cup Trail at Newbury behind Nugget in the form race thought was going to work out really well, and then second he was an unlucky second, I think, wasn't he, at Royal Ascot, because Highfield Princess got the rail. Horse there's massively progressive, but just couldn't catch her.
Yeah, she was away and gone, wasn't she, Highfield Princess that day? But yeah, he's an improving horse himself, isn't he, Daniel?
Is that a May call then?
I think it
that is unusual, isn't it?
Pretty much so, because
look for him running comment on that.
Always prominent on that side anyway. Lord Rapskillian led the other side, and Mutakahel was absolutely travelling too. I think I'm pretty short in running.
Close-up writers at the moment are like, because there's nothing worse than when you've got when a horse leads and then has it actually led all the way. It's one of the worst things you can have when you're doing close-ups.
Would it not be made all when it's definitely on its group, I suppose?
First on the far side group. But it's one, so I think we will see. I think we'll see a made virtually, or that might be the comment.
Is there that option?
Okay, all right. Listen, we've got to go on to the next race. We've only got 8 minutes to, of course, the great showdown. I think we can say that, even though we've got a Royal Ascot winner in there as well in Horan Elcano, Bangkok as well, talented horse. Montatham, will he be the pacemaker for Mahafeth? That's what we're thinking. Barry Orr, which way did you go in the York Stakes?
Yeah, it's 1.93 now, Mahafeth. Absolutely smash-up job, considering it was 2.36 for the Hampton Court winner earlier on today. Armory was 6-4 and is out to 3.55 now, so it was 5-2. I had planned on laying Armory, but I didn't want to lay it at 5-2. What effectively is a match for my money. I don't think any of the other three have a realistic chance here. I think Armory's going to struggle to give £13 to Mahafeth, but I don't want to be a layer of it at 3.5. So what we'll do, G-Rod, we'll select lay our own odds. We're look to take 50 quid out of it at around the 2-1 mark. So 3.0, I want to take 50 quid out of it. The market comes in our favour, well and good. If not, it's no big deal. We live to fight another day. But yeah, I saw Mahafeth as the winner, but I just didn't want to bet odds on.
He was a lot of people's banker at Royal Ascot, wasn't he, Barry? And unlike a lot of horses where the weather didn't go right for him, it certainly did there. He has to have rattling ground. He's got that here. He could have, of course, gone to the King George. That's what they were talking about afterwards. This is a horse that they still like to get to the Arc de Triomphe. William Haggis thinks he's a worldie. You were worried about the weight for Armory then?
Yeah, I just didn't think he'd give the £13 to the 3-year-old. I thought the Huxley that he won was a very ordinary race. There's not a winner's come out of it. He ran respectably last day. He travelled well. When Shamey pulled him out, he thought there might have been a change of gear over to mile 2, but couldn't make any ground on Love, who was having her first run of the season that day. So I think he's very opposable at the trip. He has one run in him, and he'll have one crack at Muhaffet. But I think Muhaffet, they'll set such good fractions here with the pacemaker in there, Monatham, that it'll set up nicely for the favourite. And I think I'm a layer of Armory, but I just didn't want to have to chase it out to 5-2 or 11-4.
So you've left it hanging then, basically, for a few viewers out there. If the price gets matched, all good and well. We don't have to play in every single race. A reminder that Barry is doing it, of course, for charity. And this is, we got a classy end now to the show, G, haven't we? This is class. Is this a sire in the making?
It's the purists' finish to the show, isn't it? 2 proper Group 2, Group 1 races with a potential Group 1 horse in it here, Mahafith. And didn't he go through that race at Ascot nicely? He travelled so well through the race and he quickened up and put it to bed very nicely. I think the time was amazing, but he finished quite well. And I think he's by far the most likely winner, of course. But it's kind of, this is the big acid test for him because Armory is a borderline Group 1 horse, certainly a proper Group 2 horse. There's no doubt about that. He's obviously won a Group 1 in Australia, didn't he? I think.
Beaten in Australia.
He got beaten by Sir Dragonay.
Was he? Yeah, and he finished a length behind Love, didn't he?
Yeah. That day, when he went down to Mooney Valley in the Cox, it wasn't the best ride, actually, that he got that day. I can't remember who was on it. Let me try.
Ben Mellum.
Oh yeah, it was Ben Mellum, who Coolmore do like down in Australia, and not one of the big name jockeys down there. He went quite wide and he made his effort on ground that probably wasn't ideal. Whereas Sir Dragonay under the boss man, Glenn Boss, got an unbelievable ride. Sir Dragonay, who they just couldn't get the best out of here. What a stroke of irony that must have been for them. I'm sure they've still got a hand in him somewhere on the line. Kieran Maher, of course, something of a genius of trainers down there.
In terms of Racing Post ratings, Armory sets the standard here.
I think he's going to win.
You know, he's the best.
It's a head-to-head with Barry on that front. I think I initially put Mahafeth down when I saw the 48-hour decks and I saw the ground was going to be his favour. Then I went to forensically look for his form. This is by far and away his biggest test, despite the fact he's getting all the weight from Armory. I like Armory in small fields. I think he's got the weapons to get out of any tactical scenario.
Oh, aye.
You don't like that, Barry.
I'm saying the weapons. Armory has the weapons.
It wasn't even. You know.
No.
You know what? It just happens, Barry. It just.
You're giving too much credit, Barry.
It's far too much credit. Come on, you should know me by now, man. No, sometimes I do try and set them up, but I don't think this one's going to blow a hole in my Hafeth or anything like that.
You're just like gone across the line there.
He's steely, this chap. No, I do. I think he's got. I'm thinking of now all the things I shouldn't be saying. Yeah. I think 3-year-olds have not got a good record in this as well. We've been saying that last couple of races, haven't we? It hasn't come true. The Star of Ryan so nearly put that right in the Moët and Chandon.
I want to throw this one at you.
Here we go.
They're both going to get beat.
Ooh.
Here we go. This is one of your crazier picks of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, I really fancy Bangkok.
Words you didn't think you were going to hear said today, viewers.
I really fancy Bangkok. I just think this race might pan out well for him because I think that the first 2 in the market might end up getting into a race here. And he's that sort of horse, isn't he, Bangkok? You have to wait and deliver him late. Like Lingfield, he loves Lingfield because you can come flying down there.
An all-weather horse.
And get there right near the line. Yeah, but he's not got terrible form. I know he's behind Armory.
So Ron Priestley just wasn't run to suit last time. They rode him to get the trip and
sweating and messy race. Forget that run last time out. Yeah. I can just see that David Probert here just trying to let the front 2 do their thing, get on with it, and maybe try and come and nick it late. I think he could run really well, Bangkok.
Okay, so Bangkok. Yeah, that's the G pick. Okay, which way did you see this go? You with the 3-year-old or you with the older?
I'm with the 3-year-old, and it's not just the weight for age, it's that £3 penalty as well Armory's got. So £12, if this horse is as good as William Haggis says he is, you've got to respect. Now, when you mentioned the 3-year-olds, I had a quick look at the recent years. There's only really been 2 that could have been considered. El
Now,
Arkham.
that's interesting. 5 have run, but what are the SPs and that sort of thing?
Yeah, El Arkham was one of them. He finished 3rd when he was 5-4 favourite in the Shadwell colours. But
painful memories.
He was becoming disappointing, wasn't he, at that time at 3?
Yeah.
And the other one wouldn't have much chance. So not many 3-year-olds.
Worldies have tried, no, because
Exactly.
you can go elsewhere, can't you? With this time
Easier
of year?
targets.
And this is typical Haggis. This build them up slowly, look for the right conditions, and we know pulled out of the Derby, Mahafeth has to have fast ground. So would it be Breeders' Cup potentially instead of the?
Yeah, the
Arc or
autumn's
something like
perhaps not going to play to his strengths, is it?
Champion Stakes or something like that. They have to chase the ground like they have to with the Dave. You know, the soft ground lover.
One for each camp, anyway.
Yeah, he has, absolutely. And if you remember when this chap sprung to prominence on his first run at Newmarket, William Haggis slipped into his interview on RTV. He said, "This is my next. We hope this is the next sire." So then everyone was like, "Hang on a minute," you know. He would have gone off. Where would he have finished in a Derby? I think there's a lot of conjecture about that.
Oh, there's so many.
He was definitely talented.
I'm not sure he stays in my
Derby-
He
mind.
hung all over the place at Ascot as well, didn't he?
Yeah, for me, the Derby is a check-out race. We'll find out with Adiyar in half an hour's time.
I don't think
this is exciting.
he would have stayed that trip, though.
I just think with Armory, Juan Elcano, of course, the one we've not mentioned.
You can't rule him out. He ran a cracker at Royal Ascot.
And arguably, at the weights, might be the one. Rated 114. Wait for ages, I was reminded by people yesterday. We're about to find out whether it will come up with a 3-year-old can see off Armory. When Armory came there cruising in the Prince of Wales, I said, take him to a Group 2 and he'll win. So I'm sticking with him. Wherever you are, good luck. It's a belter. It's classy. And they're off and running. And as expected, Mahafeth anchor down, and as expected, Montatham out of handicaps he comes. He's going to be the hare today for the Haggis team. Juan Elcano, patiently ridden at Royal Ascot, not today. They don't want a tactical scenario for him. Andrea Razzini has him in 2nd, Bangkok in 3rd. Now this is quite interesting. They're letting him get on with it a bit today. I think he'll enjoy that. Armory, as we know, a little bit sweaty out the back, settled okay for Shamie Heffernan, made the journey over, and right on the back, Jim Crowley. And is this the next superstar for Shadwell? It is Mahafeth. James Millman.
Oh, it's pointless pacemaking from Liam Jones because they're absolutely walking. This could be an Arabian Queen type scenario.
Oh, no.
Because Arno Arcala, that's definitely the best place under Andrea Eretzeni. The other two are probably concentrating on themselves a little bit more than...
Remember in the Dante, G, when Holly Doyle, having her first ride for Ballydoyle, I can't remember the name of the horse now, flew on, didn't she? Of course. And then everyone was saying, she got to her, she nearly nicked this, and then the closers come. Do you think he's right? Is he going too slow?
It looks like he's going too slow, doesn't it? But maybe...
Not helping Mahafeth because he's pulling at the back of the field.
He has
Is he
got
the
the
sort of
speed,
horse
though,
that will go
hasn't
through
he?
the pain barrier, Mahafeth?
I don't think he's pulling. I don't think he's pulling as such, is he? He seems to be
Mahafeth?
settled okay. Yeah, does he not
They're
seem
all
to settle
fairly
okay?
It's a tricky one.
Frankel,
He's
they're
not
all
desperate
going-
at all. He's just, if anything, he's just full of himself.
Here we go.
Isn't he, out the back. All right, then we're coming down the middle. It looks like, James.
Yeah, they're going to all get a clear run. But Arno Arcano, he's certainly going nicely.
Now they're turning it up. Then they're at about 3 furlongs to run. G, call it.
We're going to see if Armory's got the weapons here, Dave, aren't
I
we?
think
Because they're
he's
really
gonna get
quickly
the big
up.
guns out.
Come on, the Bangkok. He's going well. Come on,
He is. He's
Bangkok.
absolutely
They've
cruising.
6-4 against.
Come on.
Mahafeth 6-4
Once
against.
again, Montatham's still in there. That's a testament to how slowly they went. Juan Elcano going for it. Don't forget, this is also
seen
one
the
winning
panicking
Guineas.
on the favourite,
Here
is he?
comes Armory with Bangkok.
It's a very
his old
confident
rival.
ride, isn't he, on the
Jim
favourite?
Crowley now, he's asking him to go. Will he pick up? I'll tell you what, I think he's got him because Armory's run a
Hanging.
little bit flat here. Armory's not on his best. Not even going to beat Bangkok. Is Bangkok going to get
What a
up?
messy
Here comes
race.
Mahafeth. Is he going to get there on the
don't
line?
think he
Armory's
is.
found this a little bit too sharp. Mahafeth, is he going to get up? Juan Elcano, Bangkok coming back.
Come on, Bangkok.
Oh, possibly.
Oh,
Can
no
he?
way.
I tell you what,
Bangkok.
Big G's not going to put
on,
it out of
Bangkok.
5, is he? Bangkok's done it! Yes! Absolutely fantastic scenes for G-Rod here.
He's got there, has he?
And finally, every summer we see it, a man that wears a light blue shirt on the show and
Is he
gets
not
his
there?
arms up for a winner. Look at the bits on him. Absolutely sweating throughout that race he was. Bangkok. For the good of the show, I know that's why you put it up, but you have pulled it out. Well done, G.
Thank you, Dave. Yes, absolutely fantastic. What a result. I thought he was beating all ends up, didn't you? But he's
Well-
absolutely got up on the line.
Barry, I heard you saying, oh no, you're kidding. He's only gone and done it.
Yeah, he's Mahafeth traded at a low of 106, so 16 to 1 on was as short as he got for 286 quid, 1,200 quid at 107. Bangkok matched at a high for small money, 6 quid or nearly 6 quid at 300. 37 quid or 30 odd quid at 230. So matched at big prices. I don't know. It's a race you got to watch over and over again, isn't it?
Again,
Tactically, it was
joking
very,
a
very
race
messy.
again.
messy stuff, Barry, wasn't it? I mean, Bangkok beaten by Armory, of course, when they ran at Chester. Let's get a social. Ginger Joe says, G-Roch, watching you then made my day. Yes, indeed. Well, there were 2 tribes on that front, I think, Joe. And but listen, you put it up. Sometimes you see these things, don't you? We'll pick the bones out. But he's done something that I've not seen him do for a long time there, and that's go between horses and really stick his head out.
He really tried hard, didn't he? I thought he was in all sorts of bother. Mahaffef travelling all over him, but he really put his head down. The messy race suited him, as I thought it might, Dave.
The tactical thing, that's where I thought Armory might get out of it, but he's definitely found it too sharp. He looked like he wasn't on a going day at all, and he's coming back at the finish. Interesting, not totally sure he was in the right place out the back there, but Mahaffef, let's talk about him first and foremost.
He's run a stormer because...
Really? You think the sectionals will show he has run a blinder?
The hang-in is the worry going forward because he hung at Royal Ascot when winning, and he has hung today when looking like winning his race. But you've got 2 very good horses in Juan Carlo and Bangkok who are much better placed than him. He's just concentrating on Armory. All Jim's worried about is beating him, but if you concentrate on one horse, you're always at risk of not catching the ones in front. And like I say, Liam Jones and the pacemakers walked. I think William probably isn't going to be particularly happy when he gets back in. And it's just been an absolute mess of a race. They're absolutely crawling until they entered the home straight, where it's a bit of a 4-furlong sprint.
I think the Ryan team deserves some credit, don't they? Because although...
Is there a bit of a doubt about the resolution of Mahaffet?
Yeah.
Even allowing for... Like, he seemed to roll in again, but, he seemed to hang a bit again, and
he reminds you
should be really beating them if he's as good as everyone.
Yeah.
Well,
with the
his
weight
trainer
Barry.
seems to think he is getting what, 12 pounds, off the likes of Armory, and even 9.6. So what? He's getting £9 off the other 2.
Yeah,
he should be beating them.
He should have won, but when they're going that slow, it's such a hard to make up ground. You've seen Armory get outpaced. He's probably run below par, but it's not suited him at all, not having any kind of pace.
Well, let's look at it. Look, they're turning it at the top of the home straight, and we can see them now. What's he given Bangkok? The best part of 5 lengths?
Yep. And Juan Carlo as well. Bangkok, fair play to him, because I didn't think he'd beat the runner-up. I thought here Andrea was the one that's going to have stolen it.
And fair play to the Ryan team, as I was saying, because this is a horse that was held up at Royal Ascot, but they've known that the tactical pace scenario won't suit a hold-up balls. So they thought, right, come on, we can change it up.
Yep.
Do you think that horses should change it up more?
Yes.
Yes, he's beaten
Do
half.
you think that they should be...
Armory should have been up there as well, that's my point.
I think Crowley thought he had them covered, lads.
Yeah, probably right, Barry. He's definitely hung in a little bit, hasn't he? You know what?
To his left, but I think Jim Crowley definitely thought he had these covered, and when he dipped the horse, I don't think it was there what he was looking for. He didn't get the response he was expecting.
Yeah,
no,
Armory's
I suppose
finished with something in the tank,
The negative would be that 3 to the 2, where he's had to catch that 5 lengths. That's kind of where he's probably emptied out a bit. But
Armory was bombing home.
Bombing out.
Listen, I don't to start. It's all gone.
Dear.
One word: Al-Azi. We've got another one.
I don't think they'll be good in this one just yet.
He's a young horse, isn't he? Listen, and he's a very, very talented one. To make up that ground and go close, James Millman says he's run a very, very good race. Should learn from that again. But Barry's right. 2 races now. Although he won at Royal Ascot, there was a lengthy stewards, of course, wasn't there? Because he hung all over the track. And we've got some viewer interaction on the screen. Let's have a look, see if we have.
But that's where Jim said in the write-up this morning, I'm not going to hit the front anywhere near as early as I did last time. And that's all he's thinking about in the back of his mind. Armory's there in front of him. That's his main danger. It's a match between the pair. And they've kind of ignored the other 2 a little bit too much in that little sprint off the home bend. So I think both points are valid, that he should have probably still won, but I can see why he didn't as well.
The debate will rage then from this York Stakes then. That was the 3:15. We bid farewell to the Knaves Mire. A funny result. One man knew. The bear has been poked successfully. Don't put your arms up again, my friend. That was I learned the hard way last year, and
I did a jump.
Notice the shade that I've got.
John Canoe.
John Canoe was the one with the honestly, I knocked it out of the park. He touched 100 to 1 at one point. It's the anniversary of John Canoe next week. He touched 100 to 1, and all anyone wanted to talk to me about was my armpits. This is some game, isn't it? There you are. All right, it's King George time. Shall we move on? Love is all around us in the studio after we knock that one out of the park. Let's get your King George selections in. Are you with the great filly? You can see there, it's another 3-year-old. The debate will rage here for the wait for age thing. Spotlight verdict. Nap Adayar in the paper. Premium content. Freemium content.
I think you need to keep it. That's just the word of the day.
Belter, isn't it?
Word of the day.
It's been a good day. It's been a revolutionary day for lots and lots of reasons here in the studio. Will it be for Barry Orr? Oh, Barry, are you going to lay this one?
No. The older horses obviously are given £11 to the 3-year-olds, and the filly has to give £8 to them. Obviously, Lone Eagle traded a low of 1 per 3 in the Curragh. Frankie gave it a magnificent ride. Out of the 2 3-year-olds, he's the one I don't fancy. Adayar, completely different ground today to what he won on in Epsom. So I think she can give him the £8. Mishriff and Broome. Mishriff for me just has to prove now again, and Broome I think will set fractions for them here. Or he's in there as a tactical weapon for love. I love this filly, I really do. I think she'll give £8 to Adayar, and I think she'll do it comfortably as well. She's currently 276, and I'm happy to be a price taker here, G-Rod. Even with Wonderful Tonight in the race, she was a 5-4 chance for this in the anti-post market, but 2.80 actually she is now. So we'll have, or 2.82. So we'll have, it keeps drifting on us. So 284 now. We'll take 284, G-Rod. We'll have 50 quid on her. Yeah, 286. So she's on the slide all the time. Maybe we'll put in the backer at 2.9. It's such as the drift on her, but I'm happy to be a backer of her. Of love. I think she'd take all the beating here.
This is traditionally a race, isn't it? I remember the first King George that I went to, as a sort of early 20s, I probably was. It was
Black and white
fantastic light versus Galileo.
Yeah.
And
20 years ago, was it?
I remember standing in front of the stands, and that was just an incredible race. And and we have seen Tagruda in 2014 was the filly. Fillies have a great record in this race. 3-year-old fillies, it's almost impossible to beat them, isn't it? We've got a good one. This is why we thought Snowfall might go down that route, and they're now going the more traditional route, as we know. So impressive in last week's Irish Oaks, absolute worldie. But this is the target for love. She came back belatedly in the Prince of Wales Stakes, a race that you thought, if she's going to be vulnerable, this will be it. They pulled out on the day, of course, Lord North, who was the one that maybe the public were expecting to beat her, but she had to do it. And I don't want to say this, but it's a cliche, but it is the hard way for her. She's not a horse that you would ever see really making the running. I know that Ballydoyle can do it. Ryan Moore said, no one's going to lead. I'm over a trip shy of my best. I'm going to have to go on. She looked beaten, and what an attitude she showed. I'm not opposing her. I thought this is all about King George. Broome will give her a lead. I think Barry's absolutely right there. Grossly overpriced Broome was, by the way. A horse that chased home Wonderful Tonight and is a bit like Armory, if you like, in that he's Group 2, Group 1. He got his Group 1 in France, of course, last time. Did they gift it to him a bit that day? Could he get loose on the lead? I think he's overpriced.
Will Frankie not be positive again on Lone Eagle?
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Just the fact that he
form of which has been franked, of course.
Yeah, like Barry said, I thought Frankie, that was an absolutely fantastic ride in the Irish Derby. Just to get caught, I would have gone probably lower than 1.3 because he looked like he'd nicked it. And interesting how Frankie rides from stall 1. He's going to be positive at least in the gates. Yeah, I'm with love. I don't like the Adiar's Derby form at all. I think quicker ground's going to find him
I'm
out.
hoping she does the enable thing. I just don't really want to oppose her for much as I love the rest of the horses in the race. It's one of those, isn't it? Well, Jesus comes on and says, the Lord will bless Mishriff to bolt up. That's one dream where the Lord has got involved with Mishriff.
Jesus and God.
It couldn't possibly be the same chap, could it? Well, thank you for joining us. Jesus, I think we'll call you. And, okay, Dave Scott comes on and says, Broome won't be sacrificed as a painmaker. Oh, no, you're with Tom Segal on this. He is owned by a Japanese owner who wants him to finish as high as possible. Indeed, Japan was potentially in the race as well, wasn't he, in the same colours as well? Yes, Broome. I really, really like Broome. As I've said on the show before, so solid. I just don't think he's got the what you need, the A game to beat love. Frizzy Red, of course, disagreeing. Go on, Broome. Got to have a bet on him. I've been following him all season. You've hardly put a foot wrong then, have you, whatsoever? Okay, guys, keep them coming in. What are we? We've got to run about 7 or 8 minutes away. They'll be doing the parade at the moment at Ascot. This is one of the race for the ages. What's your favourite King George one over his Harbinger horses like that? Highland Reel, do you remember on this day in 2016? Amazing.
I think Harbinger's been forgotten. Oh yeah, Monsieur was good.
Monsieur. Hurricane Run. I mean, the greats win this race. Nathaniel, Dane Dream, the great mare, won it, of course, didn't he, under a French star? Azamor, Doyen, Adamshaw, Golan, Galileo, as I mentioned, Monjo, Swain, Pentard. Who's going to join the name? I just see Love joining that name, those ranks. Do we get really very shock winners of this? Was Dane Dream perhaps beating that?
Well, the biggest price one in the last 10 years was Dane Dream.
Yeah.
And there's that more big. She's a 4-year-old, I suppose.
She wasn't. She'd been out of form, hadn't she, coming in?
She was an art winner, wasn't she?
Yeah, she'd won the Arc and she was out of form coming in.
Novelist, I suppose.
Funny enough, that was that race I was telling you about earlier.
Yeah.
We were talking about Joseph O'Brien, who I thought really gave St Nicholas Abbey an awful lot to do that day.
Poor old St Nicholas Abbey, one of the great horses they had there, and he came up against Franklin and the lights and everything, didn't he? Tips then G. Now you are again.
Yeah.
You've been given somehow some credibility, and with Bangkok with your
Yes.
crazy madcap selections, you've got another one here.
Yeah, I think they're both going to get beat. I don't see this as a match at all between Love and Adele. I think that they're the wrong prices. I think they're far too short, both of them. I think that the best 3-year-old on the race is definitely Lone Eagle, and that is purely based on the fact that I think Hurricane Lane is a far better horse than Adele.
I agree.
And all the
Far better horse.
far better, yeah,
Okay.
and all the rumours.
Rubbish as well, for once.
The bear is on form.
All the rumours going into the Derby was that Hurricane Lane was the better
I was on
horse.
him that day, yeah.
And obviously not a lot went right for him that day. A couple of shoes came off. I don't think he
Both
really
the front shoes. didn't
handled the track. And you know that I like your race form speed figures, Dave, don't you?
they?
Now,
Absolutely.
Lone Eagle, when he finished second behind Hurricane Lane in the Irish Derby,
Yeah.
the race form speed figure that day was 121.
That's a biggie.
Yeah. Now the par for Group 1's race form speed figures is 117. So that is a big speed figure.
You don't often
And not
see them go
only
above
that,
120.
not only that, he did it from the front, which suggests that he didn't benefit from the way the race was run. You know, he had to cut out the running, and he ran a really fast time right on the pace. That tells you that he's, I think, a special 3-year-old.
Is Lone Eagle on top?
He's not, though. No.
Wonderful tonight. We should say that wonderful tonight. Like a lot of tipsters when the 48-hour decks came out, said this is now a bet because it either will, if it'll either rain in her favour or it won't run. And obviously, we know she's not running. So who have we gone on now?
Yeah, I think the best Group 2 race run all season was the one that Wonderful Tonight won, the Hardwick, in which she beat Broome and Hookham was third.
So you're with Broome.
And I think that's a Group 1 race in all bar name. And I thought Wonderful Tonight absolutely pulverised them.
They were non-runners, but it looked like a special race on paper.
Oh, yeah, and the way Hookham went through it, and then she just blasted him away.
He's come out and won since.
I think Hookham is a Group 1 horse as well, and he was well beaten behind Broome and Wonderful Tonight. Now, I looked at the sectionals of this. Wonderful Tonight and Broome ran almost entire, the final 3 furlongs almost entirely exactly the same. There was very little between in how fast they finished. The problem was that Broome started his run from a lot further back than Wonderful Tonight, who was better placed. So I think that if Wayne Lorden is it who's riding Broome,
Yeah.
I think that if he's got Broome a lot closer to the pace this time, he definitely has the ability to do it. We're suggesting that he may not pacemate, but he may be a lot more prominent than he was that day at Ascot when I think Ryan Moore was riding him. They smashed him like he couldn't possibly lose. He was absolutely whacked in the market.
He got beaten in the tats, didn't he, Barry, if you remember? And that was when I actually came to really like Broome because I thought he did so much in that race. Is he now coming in the market, Broome?
Yeah, Colin King get the winner. A fantastic ride that day, held the cream for Noel Mead. Coming in the market, he's currently trading at 17.5. So, yeah, there has been money for... The ground for me would be a big concern with Broome here.
Is that the case for Mishriff as well, guys? Because this is definitely stinks Mishriff, doesn't it? It was awful ground when he ran at the Champion Stakes. You remember back here when he signed off and he got bottomed. But seemingly they thought it would be ideal for him at Sandown on his return.
Well, I think he's a huge player.
He's a huge player.
Huge player. I think
Yeah.
that race...
Why on earth is he nearly 8 to 1 then?
no idea why he's that big a price. He's a huge player. That Eclipse was the most ridiculously silly race you're ever going to find. I think they finished
Come on, man.
They finished at something like 100.
What are you going to do with a field like that?
10% or something.
It
was insane.
Dave did us all a favour and went on, didn't he? You know, Mishriff was the last.
There was still no pace in the race. I mean, they went.
I think he was the best horse in the race.
Mishriff, right, finished weekly, right? He finished weekly, but he finished at something like 107%, which at Sandown is off the scale.
He's going to improve off that.
He actually finished fast. It was what I'm telling you, even though he came home in third.
Sure.
And this race here is going to be much more suited to him. He's going to want the stiffer test. The stiffer track will suit him.
He needs to go on a plane.
So you basically sort of half Dutching the now what I'm surprised.
Don't get me wrong. I obviously accept that Love is a top class filly, and I accept that Adayar is a top class colt. But I don't see the market in the same way that this market
Is he a
sees
top class colt, Adayar? This is where we find out, isn't it? I mean, stuffed by what was the horse of
Third round.
Roger's horse in the Lingfield? Of course, I forgot, wasn't it?
Third round in a shake.
Third round, thank you, James. Yeah, of course. So
Must have hated the ground.
it was drawn.
We did that here, did Dave? Do you remember?
Yeah.
It was absolutely bottomless at Lingfield that day.
It was bottomless when he won his maiden at Nottingham. It was nearly.
But bottomless at Lingfield is.
And it's maiden territory, isn't it? Special horses can get away with it.
Well, he's got to prove he can actually go on quick round. We've not seen him on any kind of quick surface. First time today.
Isn't it interesting how Hurricane Lane, stuffed by him in the Derby, all right, lost 2 front shoes, probably still a bit immature, didn't like the track. However, stuffed by him. And this is almost the now forgotten horse, Adayar. A little bit. And Charlie Appleby has been bullish about him. His actual comment to us this morning. Love is going to go off favourite, deservedly so. But Adayar receives the weight, and I genuinely think he should be bang there. Big boys division now, which is exactly what it is. And I'm delighted, like we all are, I'm sure, that the mile and a half division has finally lit up again a little bit. You know, it needed to, and the narratives for the rest of the season are absolutely fantastic. Okay, as we see David Probert at York, been a great season for David Probert. You're suggesting that we should change channels for our replay, of course, but yeah, it's your moment, the Bangkok thing. I thought they probably kept it on for you, haven't they? To see it.
Yeah, I'm suggesting that how far are they from the off in this race?
Well, Love's just walking down to the start.
Oh, there you go.
So she's nice and calm. Aidan's having a little chat with.
They're a little bit late off here, though, by the looks of it, because they should be jumping.
Oh,
off,
they're now only doing the parade.
jumping off now.
So
Yeah.
we can see. Oh, doesn't she just look absolutely beautiful?
Well, let's just go through it, because I will have to go through it before every big race, and we've got a bit of time. The fillies allowance.
What, should they have it
Should
on?
they have it in
Should
Group
they have
1s?
it in
Eve Johnson
Group
Houghton, I
ones?
spoke to her last week. She said I put her on the spot. Said, "What do you think of it?" She said, "Well, I haven't really thought about it, but should they really have it in Group 1s?"
No.
I think over jumps is £7 too big.
Jumps is cheat allowance, they call it, don't they?
The incentive to keep mares, yes, it's worked, and now I think they're going to dominate too much as such with that.
It was. I agree with James a little bit. It was needed. We need to revisit, right? The Arc is the classic example of how it's probably gone a bit too far.
I've got a bit of a weird theory on it. I think that you should get the fillies allowance while you can run in fillies Group 1s and before you've won a Group 1 against colts and geldings. Once you've won a Group 1 against colts and geldings, I think that should be abolished, the £3, and you should be stopped from running against your own sex. So then you should only be able to compete against open company.
You
Don't
should
agree
just
with the
think that
latter
Love is
part.
like Casta Semenya. You know, she's
Well,
just absolutely just completely dominate.
But you know-
in a sphere she probably shouldn't.
You know how fickle trainers would be. What would happen if you did what I said and you took the £3 allowance away? They would win an all age, and then they'd say, "Oh well, we can't run with an all age with the penalty." You know, so what we'll do is we'll drop back into fillies Group 1 class. You've got to take that option away from them.
Barry, in Group 1s, should it be the weight range that it is at the moment for the girls?
Yes, I think it served the industry well.
All right, there you are. See, some love for it still out there. We've got another viewer interaction coming in. Matt McKenna, good to have you on the show. Great show. Tune in every Saturday. Great to have you, Matt. Who wins the King George? Let us know. If Tony Ennis were here, he would be very, very much in the favour of Mishriff, wouldn't he? He had his nose rubbed in it in the eclipse, took it like a man. I bet you he's going back in for that one as well. Okay, the market, Barry. She's not going to go 2-1, is she, the Great Love?
No, definitely not. 282 now, 365 Adayar, Lone Eagle 582 Mishriff. There was some money for that. It was into 7.8 at one stage, and Broome is 16.5. But she's steady around the 2.8 mark now, 2.9. She's been hovering around that.
It's crazy to see Broome at 40-1 in places when the market's opened up. I mean, I must admit I didn't go for it because I just can't see him winning it. But much so I love him. But 16-1 is around about the right place. Okay, a reminder: Matt McKenna tunes in every Saturday. Great to have you here every Saturday. A reminder: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the Saturday, myself and Barry Orr will be joined by great talent here on Racing Post Live for Goodwood, including these two gents on the opening day. Ding, ding. We're nearly ready to go for Goodwood, but we've got a small matter of the King George. Let's enjoy this, shall we? Good luck, wherever you are. And who's going to lead? Adayar, a little bit restless, but not as bad as Broome, who's completely missed it. Oh dear, plan B immediately for Ballydoyle. That is going to throw it up in the air, isn't it? Lone Eagle, we expected to be up there. Adayar, we expected to be up there. Not in front, however. Now, Broome is catching up on the outside. Wayne Lorden's thinking, oh my goodness gracious me, I'm ever going to ride one of these pacemakers again. I better actually get to the front.
We know he's a
Love is now
pacemaker.
one off the back, and Mishriff taking a keen hold. David Egan, usual pilot, He is being a little softer with it again. Barry, let's come to you. That was a change of plan. The pacemaker's finally got there. What's that done to the market?
Yeah, well, that's seen Broome drift out to 19.5 now off the back of pacemaking duties. Love into 2.4 now. Adayar 4, 5.4 Lone Eagle, and Mishriff into 7. That's a bit of a mover, bit of a positive for Mishriff, getting a nice
He's
sit
getting
out
a
the
toe
back
into
there.
the race, Mishriff, because he's the one that's been switched off.
I was going to say, James, is he the most settled for you?
Yeah, he is, because Adayar is very keen in second. Lone Eagle, Frankie's taken a pull and taken that lead as Broome's finally got there.
And even Love's having a little think about it, isn't she? She wants to go a little bit quicker. Of course, she made all last time over the mile too. Right, we're on the far side, Swinley Bottom. Here we come. They're sticking to this rail. Good to see. Broome, he's got his position. He's tough, isn't he? Adayar, has he been a touch too keen for you?
Been a little keen. So has Lone Eagle's been a little keen. Looked like he wanted to go on like he did in the Irish Derby, and he's not been allowed to do so.
Yeah, that change of tactics
These
is
are
not what he's
seriously
used to.
classy animals, guys, because you watch them, and Adayar, what a beautifully built horses.
11 to 10 Love.
11 to 10 Love as they approach the final bend then, and they're starting to wind it up now. But Lone Eagle on the inside, he's almost dwarfed by Adayar. Even Love, Mishriff out the back. Call it, G.
Yeah, I'm hopeful still on Broome. I know he's gone fairly fast, but he's kicking on.
This is what you want to see. He's been given a softie then after finally getting there. Adayar has him in his sights.
He's going well, the Derby winner, isn't he? He's travelling.
Moore's going to get blocked in.
Ryan Moore, don't get blocked
Oh,
in.
he's coming up on the
Ryan.
outside.
Okay, yep. David Egan.
Oh, he's got out. Ryan's out.
She's got the split. Okay,
No,
Lone
she
Eagle looks
hasn't.
cooked. I'll tell you what, she's outpaced though, isn't she? Mishriff swept to the front. Now, could that be a winning
Here
move?
comes
from
Mishriff.
David Egan. Now Love is trying to fill her lungs and come after them. Adayar's just about got the shawl. Here we go with Mishriff. Could this be his big day? Love woefully
Derby
outpaced
winner.
after that move. There's going to be lots talked about that. Adayar on the inside looks like he's going to do it. Is this a Derby winner?
Yes.
Following up, 61, 71, 81, 91, 2000, 2011, 2021. It's another 3-year-old that wins. The calendar does not lie. We knew it was out there, that stat. Unbelievable scenes here on Racing Post. The Derby winner follows up in the King George. Beats one of the highest ranked horses on turf in Mishriff. Love only third. Wow, Barry Orr.
Yeah, Love traded at a low, Dave, would you believe, in running, traded at a low of even money. David Egan, obviously, I don't think Ryan had the horse under him to put her where he wanted to have her. Mishriff traded at a low of 1.56. Your winner, Adayar, had a Betfair SP of 3.6 and traded at a high of 14 in running just for small money. Only £4 at 14, but bigger sums all the way down to the 101. But yeah, our Derby winner goes on and lands at King George, and I'll get an update off the trading guys and see what they want to do with him for the Arc. But Janie, some embarrassment, the richest in 3-year-old Colt Division, Charlie Appleby, hasn't he?
Yeah, the boys in blue. It is their year. They got all the Frankels, of course, haven't they? They've got the big sires now. No Galileo. There'll be lots. The Bloodstock division here at the Racing Post. Oh, it's all changing on its head a little bit. Reminded me a bit, G, of Fantastic Light and Galileo. That when Fantastic Light came to the quarters of Galileo and the Derby winner just kicked on. Top class colt.
Yeah, looks very, very good, Dave. I love the way that he went away at the finish as well, considering for a horse who was very, very keen through the early part of the race, appeared to be pulling quite hard. He really stays on strongly. He's a strong stayer, isn't he? He'll be very hard to beat over a 1.5 miles this year, but we've got some great 1.5 miles horses. There's going to be some great clashes down the line, aren't there?
And it only took the King George for William Buick to finally celebrate a race. Barry, did I hear you there?
Yeah, 2 to 1 from 7 to 2 for the St. Ledger and 5 from 10 for the Arc.
Oh, they're all about that 5 to 1 mark, aren't they? Still Snowfall, I'm assuming, is your fav then, Barry, on the sportsbook.
She's 4 to 1 fav. I'm
Yeah.
just waiting to see what they do with Love, because she was a 5 to 1 chance.
Yeah, I think she's going to be certainly dropping down that Diodor pecking
Well,
order,
whether
really.
we see Love in the Arc is going to be questionable. If the sun shines in Paris-Longchamp, maybe in October, September, maybe they might go. Might now be looking for alternative targets for Champion Stakes, potentially, I would say, for Love. There were 2 bounces in that race. Definitely Lone Eagle, who'd had the break. He was forced to miss the Derby. He just hasn't turned up today, I don't think.
Patient tactics. Front runners works a treat, hasn't it? And
Yeah.
G-Rod actually mentioned it in the run. He didn't look comfortable in behind. He's a small horse.
He has
got crowded.
boinged for me. And has Love slightly bounced off the Prince of Wales? She was hanging a bit. I'd never seen her do that before.
Yeah, she was disappointing.
Yeah, although Ryan got boxed in, she's not picked up. It's a bit of a messy race early, but fair play
Lovely
to the
move
winner.
that from David Egan, wasn't it? Whatever horse you're on, you like to see that attack off the home bend. It was the narrative of the race.
And he kept Ryan pinned in, and Ryan had to switch and go around. But in the end, it's made no difference to Love because she's been soundly beaten. Mistress had the perfect toe into the race. I doubted Dave. I didn't think it was particularly great at all, but he's really sharpened up because look at him. He's keen, travelling strongly. with William waiting for Broome to come across.
You'd mark him up a little bit on that. Let me tell you, you do these comments in runnings. When you look at a race, as you'll know out there, you look at things, you're writing as you're going through a race. Horses that are keen are the ones that tend to lose the races. It's the one that settles best. And he has been absolutely full of himself, hasn't it? 5 to 1 then for the Arc. St Ledger or Arc, where are they going to go?
I wouldn't waste my time with the St Ledger, Dave.
Oh.
I think that the Arc, this is a proper horse.
We're not talking about the Ledger is a race, though, isn't it? It's come back into prominence. You know, had some proper horses, right?
It's a stallion race. If you win the St Ledger, you're kind of ending your stallion career. And I think he's shown today where I thought he might be lacking in a bit of pace. He's quickened off that home end and stretched right to the end. And
so with Hurricane Lane in it, the two that, as Barry said, right embarrassment of riches. Will they both let them go? Will they let them rip like they did in the Derby?
Well, they both want a mile and a half, don't they? It's not as though neither of them are really dropping back to 10.
With Hurricane Lane having been beaten in the Derby, they're thinking, OK, so if one of them gets... They'll be happy. This is the one now, I think, isn't it? I mean, Adiyar beat on his first 2 starts.
Yeah.
This is a horse that you could... A bit like Snowfall last year, 7 runs, you know, hardly showed anything, you know.
I think,
one-wise.
well, I mean, he's a star now, isn't he? Derby winners that go on to win this race. You know, there aren't many of
stuff,
them.
isn't it? You know, this is good. This is proper big news.
You like to see it, don't you? You like to see the Derby
love to
winner
see it.
go on and beat the older horses and really prove themselves as top class. And the Derby now are starting to look like a good race, isn't it? With Hurricane Lane in third, of course.
And Charlie Appleby, isn't he just one of the absolute greats? And what a find he was for Godolphin. James Millman, it's been great to have you on the show, my man. You're back on Tuesday. It's been a busy week. Go and rest yourself, get you back in the game. And lots to look forward to, isn't it? Highlight of the day, obviously Adiyar, but...
Yeah, the first race for me was my highlight. Ray Dawson getting that win on Zane... Claudette, that's the one. Fantastic effort for Ray Dawson. That was a good start. But we've seen some good racing. We've seen some funny racing today. It's not been...
Cat and mouse stuff.
King George was good.
Yeah.
I didn't really like MoFF. I think he should have won. And also our fantastic Fox. That was a bit of a disaster. Again, such a messy race. But no, I'm glad we've had a proper King George, though. First proper one we had for a while.
I've taken the mickey out of Keeley saying he's got your hoodoo. I think I had a hoodoo on me today. It's catching in here. Don't worry, I'll be back with a vengeance at Goodwood. Don't you worry about that. I need to do a bit more study. G, great to have you back. You're having a little break, but we'll see you Tuesday. And you're going to be doing lots of stuff for us, aren't you, the Racing Post next week?
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of stuff next week. One of the great weeks of the year. One of my favourite weeks of the year. I love punting at Goodwood. I really like it there. So I'm hoping for some more winners' day. Flying high in confidence after today.
Find us the winner of the plate at Galway as well when you come into the week. All right, Barry, it's a big week. Go and have a Desperado. Nothing too serious for you. We need you in your A game, which you've been on today again, man.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Good show, Dave. Thanks to you and thanks to the lads in the studio. And look forward to seeing you all on Tuesday. We'll get the head in the form book between now and then.
That's exactly what we're doing. Great to have Barry. So great to have you as well. Thanks to the guys in the studio, Dan and Will as well. Whoo! That was the King George, the Derby winner. He prevailed. His name was Adiyar.